Hi guys. Before you start this episode, we have to share that the timing is just crazy.
Yeah. We recorded this episode on August 29th, and we just heard the news today that Queen Elizabeth has passed away.
Sadly. May God rest her soul, Queen Elizabeth. So if you hear us say anything in the episode about her outliving Charles, or speaking about her in the present tense, or calling Prince Charles Prince when he's now king.
He's now the king. It's crazy.
We did not know it at the time when we recorded this episode.
The timing is crazy. So, yeah, just a little disclaimer.
Keep that in mind.
And rest in peace to the Queen. Here's the episode.
Long live the Queen.
Are you lonesome tonight? Do you miss me tonight? Are you sorry we drifted apart?
Hi guys.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
You sounded Australian.
How are you
doing today?
How are you doing today?
Irish?
I guess so. Don't really know.
Yes, today I feel like my accent is not correct or not as it should be. I wish I had an English accent for you all today.
I dare you to do the whole episode in an English accent.
I don't know.
Probably not, but
I genuinely wish I had an English accent so bad. Have you ever thought this? Like, what if I just started speaking in an English accent? But everybody I know would think I'm like a sociopath and judge me. So you can't.
I know,
you're just
it's
stuck
too
with your
late.
voice. You know?
It is, because then even when people do move somewhere and then adopt the accent, then people like make fun of them for it.
It has to be natural, and I think rarely does somebody totally adopt a British accent as an American. But yeah, the reason is today we are talking about two members of the royal family.
Oh, what numbers is that?
That would be... No, I can't stop. I'm going to say their names in an English accent. That would be Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles. Scandal.
Controversial.
I know. It's controversial because, if you didn't know, if you're like 8 years old or something, because Prince Charles was married to Princess Diana, Lady Diana, who was beloved by the world. And then he cheated on her with Camilla Parker Bowles.
Who's
not
very
sad.
Beloved. People don't love Camilla.
Besides me. But that's true. Not beloved, and it was tragic and very sad. And then, even more tragic, Diana died.
Makes it even worse.
Yeah, it's just very sad. And so people do not like Prince Charles because of this, and Camilla. And yeah, I feel a little nervous about doing this episode.
Yeah, because it's a perspective that is never depicted, which is what I think makes it so interesting, because he didn't just cheat on Diana with anybody and everybody.
Yeah.
He cheated with someone who, in my perception, he genuinely really loved. So I know it's not good, and I know Diana really wasn't treated very well by Charles, but I always thought, hey, like, that's so kind of, like, sweet that he just loved Camilla.
Yeah. And spoiler, they're still together to this day. So it does make you think, like, whoa, what's up with that? Why wasn't he just with Camilla in the first place?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know? It's interesting because a lot of times when people cheat, you know, it's not really for love. It's more for lust. And it doesn't
ego,
last. And, yeah. So I know when we saw Spencer together, starring Kristen Stewart, I remember in the theater after we were like, I think you said we should cover them on our show. And I agreed. So now we're doing it.
But I've always thought, if not us, like, I just want to see it depicted in general from that perspective. Like,
Yeah.
I know obviously like they do Charles on The Crown and
Yeah.
there's so much media about them, but
Yeah.
it's always from a very sympathetic lens on Diana, which obviously she deserves, but
Yeah.
it does seem like two people who just really loved each other, and it was just terrible circumstances. And it seems like Charles is just as much a victim of the royal family as anybody else.
It's true. It's true. Have you watched The Crown, like those parts?
I know. I just saw The Crown like before, when they're young, when
Yeah.
Elizabeth is young.
I haven't watched it, and I am still interested in the earlier seasons, but after doing all my research for this, I watched some of the clips on YouTube of Charles and Camilla, and I just couldn't do it. The guy did not look like Charles to me. It was really bugging me, and some of the dialogue I just felt like was so unrealistic. Like, they were saying things that they wouldn't say because they would know it already. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She'd be like, that's like my grandmother who blah blah blah.
The
Like, she would-
exposition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just couldn't do it, but I'm sure it's enjoyable and stuff, but I really enjoyed researching this, and I'm glad you encouraged me to do it, because now I'm obsessed.
It must have been a big
Yeah.
feat to research this, because I imagine there's so much out there.
Yeah, I was working on it for a while. I actually just last night finished like typing up all my notes, so it took a while, but I'm obsessed now, and I think I'm gonna be into Charles and Camilla for like the rest of my life probably. I'm just into them now.
I
so.
love it.
I know it's scandalous, but I find them really interesting, and I have like a soft spot for them.
The future king and queen.
I know.
Wait, no, she won't be queen. Oh, wait.
I just read that the queen said she would be queen.
Yeah, queen
Oh
consort.
yeah, queen consort.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
They
that
still-
was scandalous.
They still, it's crazy to this day, won't, let her be queen
Like-
because of all this drama.
Just Queen Camilla?
Yeah.
Yeah. That
She
is.
has to be queen consort.
What does that mean?
It's kind of like, I don't know.
Queen by marriage? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to find a way to say it. I was going to say like subordinate, but it's not like the same plane. I don't know.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that will come up. That whole title issue. It's a big drama. Well, I guess I should get into it. This is going to be a long one. But, guys, you don't have to listen all at once.
No, you can take breaks and then come back to the episode.
It's like an audiobook.
Yeah.
You know? I was trying to explain that to my mom because she's like, it's too long. Mom, if you're listening, you don't have to finish it. You don't have to sit down and listen to the whole thing. It's like, yeah, start on your commute or
And then come back to it.
on a walk or something. Whatever
Yeah.
you're doing. Maybe you are just lying there. I don't know. But you don't have to finish it in one day. Yeah, so this might be a long one, but I hope you like it. All right, you ready, Mel?
I'm ready.
Well, just to start, I use like 2 books mostly for this. I use some of the internet too, of course. But the first one was called Prince Charles, The Passions and Paradoxes of an Improbable Life by Sally Bedell Smith. And I really like that book. Very cool. Very interesting. The other book, which I brought with me, is Charles and Camilla by Giles Brandreth, Portrait of a Love Affair. This one was a lot more like gossipy.
I love that.
So the other one was more of a biography. Sometimes in this book I was like, okay, I don't know if this is true. Because it would be like, a friend said this, a friend said that. A lot of stuff like that. And also, like, there was a story in this book, spoiler, a story about women, like, throwing bread rolls at Camilla. At a grocery store. I know. And the other book mentioned that story and said that that wasn't true.
Oh, so that makes you question.
Yeah, I question a little bit of this book, but the guy that wrote it actually, like, worked in something in the British government, and I think he knew a lot of people that knew them, and he literally met, like, Charles and Camilla a few times.
Wow.
So I think he, like, did know what he was talking about, but
Yeah.
I think some of it could be just gossip, but I tried to, be kind of diligent about that.
Yeah, it seems like you have 2 sources.
Yeah. One's more legit. Yeah, the other one, both of them, I think they interviewed like hundreds of people.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure so much work went into it.
It's crazy. Okay, get into it. So, Prince Charles Philip Arthur George was born November 14th, 1948. Scorpio like me.
Yeah, only a few days after your birthday.
Yeah. I gotta say, I know people hate him and find him annoying, but I feel like I relate a lot to Prince Charles. Charles, if you're listening,
Wouldn't that be crazy if he was?
I know. I hope that the royal family knows this is not an anti-Charles episode, and they don't try to get it taken down.
No, don't go after us.
Because I think they do that.
Yeah, I think they are, like, really sensitive about stuff.
Yeah. So don't take it down, please.
Yeah.
Don't contact Spotify or whatever. Yeah, so born 1948, his mother's the Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, nepotism, baby.
Nepotism, baby. His father, Prince Philip. Charles was a very sensitive, shy child, and he said, and others have said, that his father was very hard on him.
Ugh.
I know.
And I find Philip quite attractive, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And he said Charles said his mother was not indifferent so much as detached.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she was busy.
She was. Charles, I just think he's so funny. Like, he was really into beautiful things, even as a child. And this goes on through his whole life. Like, he was intrigued by jewelry and the royal family portraits, and he would admire his great aunt Edwina's hats and call them lovely. And she said, not many 7-year-olds would say that. He's very sensitive, and his father was afraid of him being spoiled, so he sent him to a really brutal boarding school called Gordonston. And this school was intense. They would have to, like, take cold showers, wear shorts all year. There was corporal punishment, obviously. And they had to sleep with the windows open all year.
Oh, it seems like they're cold all the time.
Yeah. So snow would even get on their beds.
That's
because
crazy.
they just wanted them to be tough, I guess. And Charles hated it there. He was tormented by the other kids at school, and they made fun of him a lot.
Oh, that's crazy, making fun of the future king.
I know. Someone that was his classmate said few students would walk with him to meals or class. Charles said people were always moving away from me because they don't want to be seen as sucking up. And he was taunted for his big ears. Oh. And he wrote many letters home about how unhappy he was. And I felt so bad for him reading about his childhood, actually, because he was not close at all to his parents. Yeah. He was so alone at school. I don't know if he had, like, any friends. And he would just, like, cry with his teddy bear. I know.
That's really sad.
I know.
I, like, find it hard to believe that kids would bully the future king.
I know.
I would have been such a little social climber back then. I would have been sucking up to him shamelessly. Yeah.
Apparently, kids that would suck up to him, the other kids would go, like, or whatever to them.
Oh,
so
wow.
Making a sucking up sound. I don't know. So it was a whole dynamic. Like, people were afraid to get close to him.
It's surprising that he wasn't just like, fuck off, leave me alone. Like,
no, he was very shy. At school, he was good at reading and writing, drawing and painting, but he struggled in math, which I also relate to.
No, I do too.
Just to show, like, how alone he was in his relationship with his parents. Apparently, in 1954, his parents had been away for 6 months, and when they returned, they greeted Charles and his sister Anne with a handshake.
Oh my God, what is wrong with them?
I don't know. He was close with his sister Anne, but his younger brothers were much younger than him, and he wasn't as close to them. Which is good to hear.
That's good to hear. One of his brothers not a good guy.
Yeah.
Andrew.
I was nervous reading this book.
Too.
Like, does he have some kind of connection to that? I really think he doesn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just feel like
he seems to not like Andrew.
That's good to hear. I mean, they're just so, like, distant from each other in general. Like, I feel like with the royal family, you can't really lump them together and, like, associate them. The fact that his own parents were giving him a handshake, it's not like they're gonna, like, ride or die for each other.
Yeah, they don't know each other that well. I think him and Anne are close, but yeah, I mean, when he was like 20 years old, Andrew was like 7 or something. Yeah, so you know what I mean? It's just one of those things.
It's like a generational away.
Yeah, when he had the Asian flu. I hadn't heard of that, but I guess that's what it was called. And his parents didn't visit him, and the book made it clear. And it wasn't the gossipy one. The book made it clear that his parents had been inoculated, so there was really no risk of them getting the infection. They just didn't visit him.
That's awful. That's so interesting because I only watched season 1 of The Crown, but they make it seem like they're like trying to fight against like the coldness or the royal family or whatever. But it seems like they're just like not doing a good job of that.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, people got mad at Charles for saying this kind of stuff when he was older and said it wasn't true, but I don't know why he would lie about that. And then he kind of retracted it. I think he does love his parents, but he felt very alone.
Yeah.
But he was very close to his grandma. And sorry, there's so much backstory, but I just want to like depict who they are, you know?
No, I think it's important.
He's very close to his grandmother, and he was very affectionate with her, I guess. And some people have said, though, that the queen mother, the grandmother, may have fed his tendency to self-pity and whinging, as they say in England. And yeah, so growing up, he loved nature, the countryside, and painting. He took up painting watercolors, and he still does it to this day, and they're actually really good. I looked them up. It's very cute to me. Everywhere he goes, apparently he brings paints, paintbrushes, pencil, eraser, tissues, and sketchbook with him.
Oh.
Yeah, when he was a little older, at age 17, he went to Timbertop School in Australia. That's fitting that you did the accent earlier.
I don't know what I just did.
Which was all about physical challenges and expeditions. Charles loved it. He loved it way more than his other school. Lots of wilderness education stuff, and he loved Australia too. So shout out Australians. Prince loves you. So as a young adult, he seemed much more comfortable with older people and hung out with a lot of older, even like elderly women.
Oh.
I won't really get too into it, I guess, but he had like a couple best friends who were like 60. One of them was even 80.
Wait a minute, how old was he?
He was maybe like 20.
Okay. It's a little odd.
I know.
I guess I don't know if I buy that.
It's true because he was... I could get so into this, but he was really into a lot of things. Like, he's very into religion, spirituality, psychology, poetry, Shakespeare. Like, he was into all these things, and he would hang out with these people that were kind of like mentors / gurus to him.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of them were these older women, and it was said that he had this group of older women that just like loved him.
They must have loved him.
They
did. My God.
Yeah.
They must have gotten a kick out of him hanging out with them.
Isn't it funny?
I can also see, like, he had a pretty stuffy upbringing. Like, the royal family doesn't really modernize themselves that easily, so it must have been really hard to relate to other 20-year-old guys.
He is stuffy himself, and he does, and I mean, that was a compliment, Charles, if you're listening. And he... He is very old-fashioned, so he did not relate to people his age, so I think he liked hanging out with the older ladies. Yeah, one of them was Kathleen Raine, who was 81. She was a poet and scholar. Another was
Is she still alive?
No. How dare you? Molly Salisbury, who was 65.
Wow.
Yeah. Circle of older women who adored and supported the prince.
Yeah, they must have been so obsessed with them.
Yeah. Yeah, he said, I've always preferred my own company, or just a one-to-one. He's very much like an introvert.
There's so many movie ideas here. Like, they could even make a movie just about the older women and Prince Charles.
The Prince and Us.
Yeah. Yes, I love
These
that.
older ladies, they all hang out with the young prince.
Yeah.
They're like, Charles, what troubles you?
Yes. Yeah, we just see them together, and we see their individual lives as separate women.
I know. Yes.
And Charles is like one of the women with them.
And then they die.
Yes.
And then he has to turn to Camilla.
Yes.
All his friends died.
Yes.
That actually kind of happens.
Oh.
I know.
Well, yeah, because they do die.
Yeah, it's so sad. But yeah, about the stuffiness, this historian David Cannadine said Charles was kind of an 18th century country gentleman born 200 years too late. So he really didn't relate to people's age. He went to Trinity College, Cambridge. Apparently, he was the first heir to the throne to get a university degree.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, other royals had dabbled at universities, but they never finished. I don't know why.
Why? I feel like so easily good.
I guess, like, duty called or something?
I feel like when you remember the royal family, you can't brag on, like, I'm the first member of my family to go to college.
First generation, I call it. He was, though. But yeah, he didn't relate to his classmates. and the way they dressed and stuff. He dressed in proper corduroy trousers and tweed jackets. Charles would not approve of that.
No. Oh my god. Guys, we live in New York City, so...
You know what? Honestly, he was kind of reminding me of Edward Cullen a little bit.
You know what? That's probably why you love him so much. I love that.
He listens to, like, classical music.
He's from a different time.
He is from a different time. Charles had called himself an incurable romantic, but he hadn't had much romantic experience yet at this time. He went to all boys schools.
Yeah, is he a virgin?
I think he was.
It's okay, nothing wrong with that.
Everybody is
at some point.
Yeah. In spring 1969, though, it's not Camilla. He had his first romance with Lucia Santa Cruz. He was 21. She was the daughter of a Chilean ambassador to Britain and was a brunette knockout.
Oh.
Said to be the first love of his life, but she was Roman Catholic and unsuitable to marry because the bride had to be Protestant.
Oh.
Anglican, yeah. So then he started doing royal duties. He went on royal tour of Australia, Hong Kong, New Zealand, Japan. And this has nothing to do with anything, but like back then, so this is 1970 when he was 22, he was already talking about like the horrifying effects of pollution, plastic bottles, exhaust from cars and planes. Like he was already, because he had heard about global warming stuff, I guess, and was already like really concerned about it. And he's always been a pioneer of being like eco-friendly and stuff.
Wow,
it's so cool.
I didn't know that.
I know.
He's a little sustainable king over here.
He is actually. And he's really into like non-GMOs and stuff, like way before probably most people even heard of that. So.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
a little crunchy.
Yeah, he is actually. Yeah. So, it didn't work out with Lucia. Didn't work out with Lucia Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
He's feeling more alone as he got older. He needed to make appointments to see his parents, and he craved appreciation from them. He joined the Royal Navy, and apparently his superiors were worried about his inability to add or generally cope with numbers. And I totally relate.
That still followed him.
Yeah.
He's really bad at math.
Yeah, he's really
I
bad
completely
at math.
relate too.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other day I said to my dad, like, what is 20 times 5?
100?
Yeah, but I literally put it in the calculator.
Yeah. I do sometimes struggle adding like double-digit numbers because I think it's a confidence thing in a way. Like
Me too.
I think I can do it fast, but then I'm like, wait, no, and then I have to slowly do like the whole thing, and I don't know.
If I'm like in a meeting and I need to add, like sometimes I'll have budget numbers up on the board, and one of my coworkers will be like, "Oh, actually, you just have to add $4 to that." Even if it's like an 8, I cannot do the math in front of people.
9 messes me up.
9s?
Yeah.
Well, it's the synesthesia. All the numbers have a personality, and some of them are
too
dating.
Much going on.
So some of the numbers are dating, so I can't put them together.
Some of them are exes.
Yeah. Some of them don't like each other.
Yeah. Some do not like each other. Oh. Oh my god. Okay, like 19 plus 17?
No.
Don't even give me that.
They don't even interact.
Yeah, I can't do that kind of thing. Yes. So yeah, he's very lonely. His friends, the Palmer Tompkinsons, even said he was the loneliest human being they had ever met.
Oh,
I know.
Not looking good for him.
Sad, but so Edward.
That is very Edward.
And
Charles.
I know, Charles. Little peacoat. I also relate to this. Apparently he was somewhat of a hoarder and filled his rooms with many objects. I have many objects too, so
yeah,
I relate to that.
Then that's kind of Edward too.
That is, yeah. Also, last thing I'm going to say about him, like personality, well, probably not the last, but just he got super into gardening. It's also one of his lifelong obsessions. And one thing that he's been like roasted and made fun of for is like in this documentary, he said that he talked to his plants to help them grow, and he said, they respond, I find.
Okay, that's sweet.
People made fun of him.
Aww. But I commend him for saying that.
I know.
That's cute. I bet he writes the sweetest little love letters.
He does. you know, it was one of those old women that told him to talk to his plants, so.
Oh my gosh, I bet he
It's
learned a
not
lot
his fault.
from them.
Yeah, he did. Okay, I need to calm down. So then, in 1972, his ex-girlfriend, Lucia, invited him out to drinks with some people, and there she introduced him to Camilla Rosemary Shand.
That's quite chill of Lucille.
I know. Apparently she said something like, I have the girl for you or something. I know.
I could not do that.
I know, me neither.
Even if I didn't even like them anymore.
I don't get it. She must not like Charles or something because I don't get that.
That's crazy. Like, the future king, she's like, it didn't work out, but I'll set you up with someone else.
I know. Maybe she knew there was no chance since she was Catholic.
Yeah, that's true.
But she could have converted if she really liked him.
Oh, wow. She really was not trying to secure the bag.
No, she wasn't. You know, actually, this will come up. A bunch of people weren't trying to secure the bag.
Huh, that's surprising to me.
I know. It's very admirable, you know, turning down a prince. Anyway, Camilla. Apparently her friends called her Milla.
Oh, that's cute.
Back in the day. Camilla. She had fine features, light brown, chin-length hair with blonde highlights, a fetching figure with a large bust.
Oh.
I read that many times. She had a husky voice and smoked cigarettes.
Ooh.
Her friend, Lady Annabel Goldsmith, said she was an intensely warm, maternal, laughing creature with enormous sex appeal. And when Camilla walked in the room, your spirits rise because you know you're going to have a laugh.
I like that. She seems cool.
She does. She was described as having expressiveness in her eyes, play of mischief in her smile, her low and husky voice, minted Marlboros and gin. And the author of this book, the Charles and Camilla one, said her voice is a surprise when you first meet her because it's kind of deep. Have you heard her voice before?
No, I haven't heard her voice.
It is kind of deep. It's
I like
interesting.
that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a nice contrast with Charles, who seems like he has a soft, sensitive demeanor.
She's very different from him in that way. She was born July 17th, 1947. Both her and Charles were actually delivered by the same doctor.
Wow.
Coincidence.
Wow.
Her father, Bruce, was a wine merchant, and her mother, I think, was a stay-at-home mom, but I believe also loved gardening. And Camilla had a younger sister and brother. Unlike Charles's miserable childhood, Camilla was admired by her peers. She had boyfriends and was confident. Like, I'm sure she had some problems, but
Yeah.
But it seems like she was way more, like, breezy and outgoing than Charles. There is this story that I've read a couple times that they met at a polo match and that Camilla went up to him and said, "My great-grandmother was the mistress of your great-great-grandfather. I feel we have something in common."
Wow.
It is true that her great-grandmother was the mistress of his great-grandfather, but apparently it's not true that that's how they met. I think someone just made that up.
A little fan fiction.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes people, like, joke. They're like, she went up to him and said this, And then, you know, people think it's real.
Yeah, and then it is reprinted so often.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I think they did just meet, like, out with a group of people or something. But they did encounter each other at polo matches a lot. They both really liked polo. Yeah, that's another one of Charles' hobbies. He has a lot of hobbies. They both loved polo, the outdoors, and they had the same sense of humor. They both loved the Goons show. That came up in the John Lennon episode. He also loved the Goons. You guys could all hang out. Yeah. They were apparently immediately attracted to each other. Charles liked her down-to-earth irreverence and indifference to fashion and style. I don't know what that means. And for somebody, the book said, for somebody with downbeat tendencies like him, her personality, quote, was catnip to him. He's kind of a downer, and she was just very fun, I think.
Kind of like love at first sight.
I know. So he was 23 and she was 25 at this time. Yeah, a little older.
Older woman.
She did work a little bit. She had some secretarial jobs, but she wasn't, like, trying to build a career.
Yeah.
I guess she wasn't, like, that serious about it. And she shared a flat in Belgravia with a friend. And apparently her room was a mess.
Wow. So she's just a modern woman. She's just got a roommate.
Yep.
She's living in the city.
Yep.
He's living in a palace.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy. Isn't it?
I feel like they're also casual about hanging out with the prince.
I know. I don't know. I mean, I think she grew up wealthy, I guess. I don't know. Her dad was a wine merchant. I don't know how rich you get from that, but seems like she was in high
class.
High class
society.
circles. Yeah, high society.
I don't know. I feel like I would have like a real hard time like being myself around him. Like I feel like I would never be able to open up.
I feel like she totally was somehow. I don't know if it's just her personality.
Yeah, it seems like she doesn't even care.
I know. But she had been the on and off girlfriend of Andrew Parker Bowles for a long time. I guess when they met, it was off. But he actually had dated Anne, Charles's sister.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Small circle.
Which is just nuts, because later Charles briefly dated Diana's sister.
What?
It's like...
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like, what's with all these people? Everyone's just dating each other. But apparently Andrew Parker Bowles had a roving eye who wasn't faithful. He was always dropping and picking her up as he pleased. You know, on and off.
Yeah.
And apparently, I don't know if this is true, because I think it was probably from a gossipy book, but apparently Andrew Parker Bowles was having an affair with a married woman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and him and Camilla had been on and off for 7 years. So Andrew, I don't know what he was doing, but maybe he was in the Navy or something, I don't know, but he left for Northern Ireland and Cyprus, and Camilla and Charles started dating. And they were seen out dancing around, having fun, but then Charles had to go to the Royal Navy for 8 months. Before he left, he wrote to his uncle, "This is the last time I will see her for 8 months." He's really sad about that, but he hadn't proposed to her, or, you know,
he didn't lock it
down. But, and like, people always say that, like, oh, he didn't lock it down, or he didn't ask for her hand, he missed his chance. But they had only been dating for 6 months.
Yeah, he didn't know what was gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't think he thought anything was gonna happen. But
was their plan to like still write to each other and then be together?
The thing is also, and I don't know if this was an official conversation he had with his parents or his uncle or anything, but the thing was that Charles was supposed to marry a virgin. Or at least a girl that seemed like a virgin.
Yeah, how can you really tell?
But you can't tell, but apparently Camilla was the type you could tell. Because she had a lot of boyfriends.
Yeah.
And had been with Andrew Parker Bowles. I don't know.
We know. Yeah.
Apparently people knew. I don't know how they knew, but they knew, and she wasn't like suitable for him. And I don't know. I don't have like information on this if he had an official talking or anything, but I think he didn't think it was like acceptable, but I think he was just kind of not going to do anything about it. He was going to just push it off, and I don't know.
Yeah.
He didn't seem like urgent to get married at this point, so...
Yeah, I mean, he's still quite young.
Yeah.
But it seems like he still wants to be with her.
Yeah. So I don't know. So he left for the Navy. I have this quote from one of his biographers. "He dithered and hedged his bets until Camilla gave up on him." But I think he just didn't feel ready yet, or I don't know. But when he returned, or while he was away, actually, she became engaged to Andrew Parker Bowles.
No.
I know.
8 months he was away?
Yeah.
Yeah, anything can happen.
I know. 8 months. I'm guessing she didn't know where she stood with Charles.
Yeah.
Maybe she thought there wasn't a future there.
Yeah.
And apparently, because her and Andrew had been like on and off for 7 years, and apparently her father and Andrew's father were exasperated that Andrew hadn't proposed yet. And I'm not positive this is true, but apparently Andrew's cousin had published an engagement announcement before it had happened, forcing his hand. I know.
That's crazy. Wait, let's go back to that virgin thing for a second.
Okay.
Do you think Charles and Camilla had sex?
Yeah. I think
okay.
So.
That's kind of his fault. She's not a virgin.
No, but it's not.
Yeah,
I really don't
she'd
think.
slept with other people,
let me see this
probably.
quote I have. "The conventions of the time called for the heir to the British throne to marry a woman who at least appeared to be virginal. Camilla had a history, and you didn't want a past that hung about."
Appeared to be. That makes sense.
I don't know. Hey, I'm not saying, I'm not making the rules.
No, I get it.
I'm just a messenger.
It's a different time.
Yeah.
People are gonna talk. That makes sense.
I don't know. And I don't know how, like, official that was. I don't know if, like, the queen said, like, no, you're not.
It's just so funny they appear to be. It's like, doesn't matter if they've had sex. It doesn't matter.
You just have to be, like, discreet about it.
Yeah.
Apparently she hadn't been discreet about it.
Yeah. That's so funny. Imagine if, like, you really, like, gave off non-virgin vibes, but you genuinely were a virgin. That'd be so annoying.
That would be annoying. I bet it happens sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So, apparently Charles was blindsided that Camilla had accepted Andrew's proposal, and he felt he had no one to return home to. He was also upset that his sister had become engaged, and he felt he was losing his sisterly companion.
That's tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's got to start over.
I know. And he was invited to the wedding, but he didn't go.
It's a Camilla's wedding?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't go.
I know. People were, like, speculating why, but why would he go?
That's kind of weird to invite him in the first place.
I know.
Ugh.
Yeah. He wrote to a friend, I guess, I can see I shall have to find a wife pretty rapidly, otherwise I shall get left behind and feel very miserable. He also wrote that he would be left floundering helplessly on a shelf somewhere, having missed everyone.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know.
I get how he feels, though. That's really tough.
I know. I really feel for him. He started playing poorly at polo, I guess, and getting really angry. This has nothing to do with anything, but he went to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and he was enchanted by the town.
Oh. That's only significant because we're from New England.
Yeah, from New England. He loved it. That surprised me because I feel like in England they have so many cute towns.
I know.
I don't know. So he was doing naval courses. He was in the Navy. Camilla and Andrew were married July 1973. So he tries to move on. Apparently he almost had a thing with Lady Jane Wellesley, daughter of the 8th Duke of Wellington, but the romance went nowhere. He tried to be set up with a woman named Amanda. Then he was dating a woman named Laura Jo Watkins.
Okay, it seems like he's getting around quite a bit.
I know. Well, now he is because he's trying to find a wife.
Yeah.
Dating a woman named Laura Jo Watkins, daughter of Admiral James Watkins. He met her in San Diego, and he even met her parents, and he seemed really into her. I just thought this was a heartbreaking thing. He said to Laura Jo, "It was so beautiful to hear your father call your mother sweetheart. People don't say those endearing things to each other in front of me."
That's sweet. That's sweet that he even said that.
I know. But once again, Laura Jo is Catholic, and he couldn't marry a Catholic, so...
Well, so why did they even waste his time with this setup?
He's just attracted to the wrong people, I guess. I don't know. He said on record in an interview that he knew his future wife would be marrying into a way of life, into a job. He said she's got to have some knowledge of it, some sense of it, or she wouldn't have a clue whether she was going to like it. And said that deciding on a mate for life would be the last decision in which I would want my head to be ruled entirely by my heart. Okay. Apparently, Laura Jo came to visit in England and said that Charles was a fabulous lover.
Wow.
But I feel like later Diana said he wasn't.
Well, maybe not to her.
I know.
She couldn't satisfy her.
Yeah. I feel like clearly he is to Camilla.
Yeah. Not everyone's a match in the sheets, obviously.
In the sheets. Not everyone's a match in the sheets. But I guess Laura drew too much attention in the press or something, so she was sent away. I know. But he kept in touch with her over letters. Then he was back in touch with Camilla, actually, who was now pregnant.
Uh-oh.
But I don't think in touch meaning romantic.
Just
they
friendly.
were just friends, yeah. And Charles actually became the godparent to her son, Thomas Henry Charles.
Okay. That'd be kind of weird if you were Andrew.
I know. This reminds me
Charles?
Yeah.
Wait, what? The middle name is Charles?
Okay, this is the thing. On his, first birth certificate, it was Thomas Henry, but then at his baptism, it was Thomas Henry Charles.
Okay.
Which reminds me of
Bella.
Edward Jacob.
Yeah, when Bella, if it's a boy,
Edward
EJ. Edward Jacob.
Yeah. Bella wants to name her son after the two guys in her love triangle. What?
That's odd. That's so Bella of Camilla.
I know, so Bella of her. And so BJ Novak of him to be the godparent.
Yes. Everything is connecting
Everything
here.
connects. Isn't that odd? Your ex-boyfriend
Yeah.
is the godfather. Like,
That's
what the
so
fuck?
weird. And it's so weird Andrew was cool with that.
I know.
Doesn't she have a younger brother?
She does.
Seems like he could have been the godfather.
Yeah, I know. I feel like Andrew didn't care.
Yeah, he seems
weird.
not that committed to her.
Yeah. So, Charles continues with his life. He's fox hunting and playing polo. And also, I should say, there's so much to say about him, but he was leading, like, 30 charities or something. He was
He's
insane.
busy,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was doing so much charity work, starting all these projects. Yeah. Yeah, so he stayed friends with that girl, Laura Jo. Apparently, she was actually at his wedding to Diana.
Oh, wow.
I know. June 1975, he was on leave from active duty, and he was competing in a polo tournament.
He loves polo.
He loves polo. Andrew Parker Bowles was also competing, and a photographer captured Charles and Camilla caught in a moment of conversation.
Wow. Were they competing against each other?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh my god, the drama
know,
there.
right?
That's a scene out of a movie.
I know. And then they're
Who
talking.
won? Do you
I don't
know?
know. Sorry. He ended his career with the Royal Navy in 1976. He launched a charity called the Prince's Trust, which is supposed to help young, troubled youth, specifically like people of color, I think, to help them develop talents and learn employable skills. Then it kind of went on to being like helping them launch businesses or whatever.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah. And he kind of became a vegetarian.
Wow.
Not 100% vegetarian.
Okay.
Freegan, as my
Okay.
friend Abby said.
Halfway.
Yeah. In the late 1970s, apparently his image in tabloids was a carefree bachelor popping in and out of bed with girls.
Okay.
I know.
Not very virginal.
I know. I don't know how true that is. I mean, maybe he was popping in and out of bed with girls, but I feel like he was never carefree.
Yeah. No, it seems like if he's an Edward type,
I think he is.
he's always gonna be pretty anxious about things.
I don't know. I don't know how many girls he's with. I only know a couple names. Like, doesn't sound that crazy, but maybe there's more. He wanted his own property to practice farming for a start, and part of the dream was to be close to Camilla. Apparently, they still cross paths out in London.
He can't get her off his mind.
He can't. And he apparently said he regarded her as his best friend.
Aww.
I know. 1977, Camilla was pregnant with her second child, who was a daughter.
Sorry.
What?
I just feel bad for the daughter. I was like upset by that.
Oh. Yeah.
Just kidding. Life
It
is
works
beautiful.
out.
Yeah.
Daughter born New Year's Day. By then, her and Andrew's marriage had apparently hollowed out. He was unfaithful.
Oh, yeah, of course. Didn't seem that promising.
Yeah. Some journalist, I didn't write his name, sorry, but said that Andrew Parker Bowles went to confession and then started all over again. So he just was always cheating. And apparently Camilla's friend said that at this time she gave up on Andrew.
Yeah.
And at this point, she's been dealing with this for forever.
Yeah, and then meanwhile, this prince
I know.
over here
This prince.
is still keeping in touch with
Yeah.
her, being her support system.
Why bother with Andrew Parker Bowles? At the Queen's 1978 Royal Ascot house party, apparently Charles' mood completely transformed and brightened up when the Parker Bowles showed up. And it was sometime at the end of that year their love affair rekindled.
While she was still married? Oh my god.
While she was still married to Andrew PB. So this is part 2 of their relationship.
Second time getting together.
Act 2. Somebody that worked in the palace reluctantly told the queen that her son was sleeping with a married woman.
Uh-oh.
And the queen made no reply, but put out the word that Camilla was not to be invited to any further royal events.
Oh my god.
When I was reading this part of the book, I had taken a completely legal treat. And I was thinking a lot of things, you know, I was very immersed. At this part, I was starting to get a little overwhelmed. I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? The prince is with a married woman. Are these bad people? Am I reading about bad people? Am I obsessing over bad people? I was like getting all upset. But okay, Andrew Parker Bowles was cheating
Yeah.
first.
No, it's just like our Carly and
Yeah.
James episode.
Yeah. Yes.
He started it.
He
She
started
can do
it.
whatever she wants now. They're not monogamous.
And I do think Camilla did love Andrew, actually,
Yeah.
and would have stuck by his side. But, like, why should she
No.
at this point?
At this point, no.
No.
All is fair.
All's fair.
But, I mean, hey, like, look at Charles.
I know, he's so bad.
Yeah.
He's sneaking around. Oh my god.
Okay, but, I mean, probably was good size.
I know. Probably was really exciting.
Yeah. I mean, they really loved each other.
Yeah. Apparently Charles was happy with it as it was.
Mhm.
He really didn't care. Like, he would have just continued to be Camilla's paramour or whatever forever. Like, he was fine with the setup. But he was getting pressure to get married.
Yeah. And he's, what, near 30 here?
Yes. Yes. And one prospect to marry was Lady Sarah Spencer, daughter of the 8th Earl Spencer. He first...
Diana's sister?
Yes. He first met Sarah at a party at Windsor Castle, June 1977. They went to a polo match later on. Then she invited him to a shooting weekend, like hunting in November in Althorpe at the Spencer estate. And there, so at this point he's 28, he met for the first time Diana, her sister, who was 16 at the time.
Oh, wow.
So Sarah and Charles dated a little bit. I'm not sure for how long, and she kept like newspaper clippings about it, but apparently she didn't like him.
Okay.
She didn't fancy him.
You know, and she's following her heart here.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah. So then he dreaded turning 30. He seemed really stressed about marriage. He wrote to a friend, "The media will simply not take me seriously until I do get married and apparently become responsible." He actually proposed to Amanda, who I mentioned earlier.
Oh, they got back together?
I don't really know.
Or just like hit her
Out
up
of the
out of the blue?
She was actually his second cousin, apparently.
Ew. That's too close related. Fourth, maybe.
Technically, you can marry your second cousin.
You technically can marry your first cousin.
Really?
Some places,
first?
I
Oh.
think you can.
I think with the royals, it was very common.
Yeah.
It was very common.
Very common in the South.
Yeah. It wasn't weird to him. He proposed. She said no.
Oh, wow.
I know. They were
It's
great.
not as easy as I thought it would be for him.
I know. I know, right? He's been like turned down left and right. What don't they see that I see? No, but they stayed friends, apparently. She went on to become a social worker. They remained good friends.
I have to say, he's really good at having platonic female
I know.
friends as
I know.
well.
He is. It's very interesting to me.
Yeah.
In 1979, his uncle Mountbatten died, and he was really close to him. And he was distraught. Apparently, he turned to Camilla. I got confused because I thought this was the time when he reunited with Camilla, but apparently it was a little earlier.
So is this a part 3 in their relationship?
No,
or-
this is still part 2.
Okay.
Still part 2. Yeah. He said that Camilla is my best friend, and now that Mountbatten was dead, she was really the closest person to him. And apparently Camilla's grandmother became concerned that she was too close to the prince. I can understand that. And I guess one time she was at her grandmother's house, and the prince was coming over to see her. And someone asked her, "Are you going to change?" Because she was wearing jeans that had like no button, and there was just a safety pin like keeping it together, and you could kind of see her underwear. And apparently Camilla said, "Oh, Charles won't mind about that."
Wow.
So they took that to mean he's used to it or something, or like he's seen that before.
Scandalous.
And okay, this is one of those things I don't know if it's true.
Yeah.
It could be it might be completely false, but I guess a servant or something. Is that even the right term? I don't know. That's what the book said. A servant claimed to know that Charles and Camilla would do it in the garden.
In the garden? Wow. Outside?
They loved gardening.
Oh my god. Wow, they're taking risks.
Yeah. There was some story where one servant to another or something
Overheard
was
it?
like, "Don't go out there," or whatever.
Oh my god.
I know.
That's hot though. Yeah, she's probably like, yeah, who cares about the safety pin? He's just gonna take it off.
But that story was funny. By 31, he was facing the fact that every woman suitable in pedigree, age, sophistication, worldliness, and intelligence was either married or long lost her virginity.
Yeah.
And I don't know who said this as a quote, but they said he was forced to rob the cradle.
I can see that. I was going to say, like, Diana, it must have been hard for him to relate to her because, like, here's Diana, his best friend, almost his equal. As someone
Camilla, yeah.
Yeah, someone he's never equal with other people because he's a prince, going to be the king someday. And then he has to get with someone like Diana, who's so much younger than him. It just creates a further power imbalance.
And he's such an old soul, you know. He really doesn't relate to young people, so... And you're completely right. So I'm not going to get too into Diana because this is an episode about Charles and Camilla. Obviously, I'm going to talk about her, but I'm not going to get into, like, detail here. Maybe someday we'll do Diana and Charles. Maybe someday we'll do Diana and her other lovers. I don't know.
That'd be fun.
Because she's very interesting, but I'm not going to get too into it. But when they started dating, Diana was 19 and he was 32.
Wow. Very Alanis Morissette and Dave
I
Coulier
know.
of
Yes,
them.
yes. The Bedell Smith book, she said that, the author said in her words, that the 12-year age gap was unbridgeable. They had no intellectual conversations, few mutual friends, no common interests. I think they did both have a vague common interest in the countryside, but it seems like that was kind of
That's not enough.
I know. Charles thought he could grow to love Diana. And I mean, I think he was attracted to her, and I think he, in some sense, maybe did love her, but I think they only, I didn't write it down because, like, I didn't really research them, but I think they only had spent, like, had only seen each other, like, 13 times or something before they got engaged or something like that. Like,
that's not enough.
Maybe 16, I forget, but it was not that much, you know.
And I'm sure, like, a lot of those times are supervised, right?
I'm not sure. But yeah, it was, they didn't know each other that well. But yeah, he thought he could grow to love Diana. He thought it was the right thing to do, and he felt pressured and panicked, and he rushed into the decision. Probably because, like, all this time would go on by, and all these other relationships weren't working out.
Yeah.
And Amanda had said no, and I don't know, he probably just didn't know what to do. I think...
I could picture myself doing that.
I know. Reading about Charles, I just came away feeling like he is so human.
Yeah.
I mean, we all are, but, like, he really just had to learn from his mistakes.
Yeah, there was immense pressure on him to get married, and he's trying.
Yeah.
He's dating a lot of people, and it's not working out, so he's probably just thinking, I just have to suppress my feelings and just do it.
I mean, people do this all the time, I think. They marry someone because they think it's the right thing, or, like, maybe they date someone. I mean, I feel like I've done that. Hope you're not listening. But, like, you know, you just... It's hard sometimes. You can't tell
in the moment
if this is the right thing. Yeah. You're like, oh, they're really great. You know, there's some issues, but, you know, they're awesome.
Yeah, and plus the people on the outside are probably saying to... him, like, Diana's perfect. Like, you'd be insane not to marry her.
Yeah. And the woman he loves is married, too.
Exactly.
There's nothing he can really do.
This is the realistic option for him.
Yeah.
And, you know, you guys know, if you were his friend, you would be telling him, be with Diana.
Yeah, be with Diana.
You wouldn't have said, keep pursuing the married woman. You wouldn't have said it.
I know.
Okay? So
you'd be like, forget about her.
Yeah.
Be with Diana.
So don't be mad at him later on.
I know.
When he starts to follow his heart.
I know. It's so sad, though, because he said, like, he didn't want to make the decision only with his heart. But if he did follow his heart, he would have been with Camilla.
But why isn't she getting divorced? Oh, I guess, like, she will.
She will. So he became engaged to Diana February 28th, 1981. And then this is when that famous interview happens where the interviewer asks them if they're in love. And she says, of course. And he says, whatever in love means.
Uh-oh.
But then he said, okay, I actually watched this like 5 times in a row. I feel like this is Charles. I know it's annoying to some people, but I feel like I get what he's doing here. And it was the wrong time to do it.
Yeah.
But he was trying to be like philosophical. Because he goes, whatever in love means, whatever your interpretation. And then the guy says, like, very happy together or something like that. And he goes, yes. So, like, he did say yes, but like he was being an annoying
I have to say,
philosophical
sometimes
person.
I do think to myself, what does in love mean?
That's what he meant.
Yeah, like people act like in love is like you can measure it or something with like you take a thermometer and it says, oh, you're at the point where you're in love or something. Like it is so abstract.
Is it just a feeling? Because feelings pass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is it like just being like really caring about someone really strongly? Like what is it?
I know. Yeah.
And it does mean something different to everybody. But he probably wasn't in love with her.
Probably not. But yeah, I really don't think he meant it callously or like
Bad timing.
Yeah, he shouldn't. That was not the time to be like, what do you think?
Yeah. Oh my god. If someone said that
Yeah.
like about me,
Yeah.
I would be very insecure. I feel bad for Diana.
I know. I do feel bad for her too. Apparently he was upset though that people always misquoted it and said whatever love means. He's like, no, in love.
Yeah. The in.
In love. That's what I was pondering. But yeah, Diana, you're right, like, seemed perfect. She was sporty, enthusiastic, sensitive, open. And from the Spencers, which is one of England's oldest families. But some of his friends did worry, actually, that they had nothing in common besides liking the countryside. And worried that Diana had fallen in love with the idea, not him as a person.
Yeah.
Which I was wondering, because later on, it seems like Diana hates everything about him. And maybe it's just because of the whole Camilla thing, which is totally understandable. But I was wondering, why did Diana even want to marry him?
Yeah.
I mean, is it just because she was young and was excited to be a princess? But did she love him?
We'll have to cover it. Because it seems like if her own sister, like, wasn't even really feeling it.
Because she seems to just, like, roll her eyes at everything he does later on. Like, all his interests are like, oh my god, you're so annoying. So I just don't know. Did she actually love him? I wonder.
Yeah. I mean,
Maybe.
I assumed she did, and, like, that's why she was so heartbroken. But maybe she just didn't like to be disrespected, obviously, which I don't blame her.
Yeah. She probably did. And apparently Camilla encouraged Charles to marry her and wanted them to be happy. And Camilla said she would use this as an opportunity to make her marriage work too.
Oh, that's mature of her.
Yeah. So this is kind of the end of part 2 of Charles and Camilla.
This is a play.
I know. Yeah. There's 3 acts, I would say.
Yeah.
Charles and Diana had a new estate, and it was 15 minutes away from Camilla.
Uh-oh.
So even though Charles and Camilla had agreed to, like, not be romantic anymore, they never stopped being friends. And
That's
this
a
drove
dangerous
Diana crazy. Yeah.
setup.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think... We've talked about this before, but, like, I don't think you can really get over someone when you're still hanging out with them all the time, you know?
I agree. And
Yeah.
the thing is, like, I was watching some video the other day why it's so important, like, if you're going to get married or you're looking for a partnership, that the base of that is friendship over everything else, because everything else is going to fade, but friendship is the only thing that will last when you're older.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like he had friendship with Diana.
Yeah.
So how dangerous is that? Is that you have someone who you're still physically attracted to that you have a strong friendship
That's
with,
true.
that's always going to override just the physical attraction.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And I don't
Mel.
even know if he was physically attracted to Diana. I'm guessing she's a beautiful woman, but...
I'm guessing he was. Yeah, he was.
But Camilla's definitely going to
Yeah.
fill a void that
Yeah.
Diana can never...
They didn't have a friendship,
Yeah.
it's true. They didn't really know each other that well. Like, they didn't know each other deeply. But he was worried what Diana was getting into, but he felt worried that he would let everyone down if he didn't marry her.
Yeah.
I mean, people were, like, freaking out. They loved Diana. Like, he couldn't back out,
No.
you know? Apparently, after their... I feel like I keep saying apparently. After their engagement, Diana overheard Charles murmuring to Camilla on the phone, and she asked Charles if he still loved Camilla, and he said, she's one of my most intimate friends, but that their intimacy had ended. But it wasn't really a clear answer.
Not what you want to hear.
No.
It's a yes or no question.
He sometimes cannot help but tell the truth. It's like, you just gotta say the right thing sometimes. Oh, he can't. This was bad. After him and Diana became engaged, he then went on a 6-month tour around the world for, like, royal duties, whatever he does.
Alone.
Yeah, alone. So, like, they had just become engaged, but then he left for 6 months.
And they barely know each other. Yeah. You're not gonna know her any better when you get back.
I know. It was a really bad setup. And while he was away, apparently Diana and Camilla had lunch together.
Who set that up?
Camilla did. And Diana became very suspicious of their past relationship.
Yeah. I bet a lot was revealed during that lunch.
Yeah. So then Charles is back, and, you know, wedding plans are going on. And I guess Charles, for some reason, got all his friends gifts for the wedding. Huh. Usually it's the other way around, but I guess when you're a prince, you do that.
Nice.
And he got a gold bracelet for Camilla. And this was kind of like in the Spencer movie. They did like their own version of this, you know?
Yeah.
He got a gold bracelet for Camilla and had the letters GF engraved in it, which stood for Girl Friday, his nickname for her.
Girl Friday?
Yeah, Girl Friday. And Diana found the bracelet and assumed the initials stood for Gladys and Fred from the Goon Show, which Charles and Camilla loved, and to Diana represented them as a couple.
Oh, I was going to just think girlfriend.
I know, me too.
Thinking. But wait, so why does he call her Girl Friday?
I don't know.
That's weird.
It's just his nickname for her, I guess. He insisted on giving Camilla the bracelet in person, and him and Diana had a whole fight about it. And I guess after the wedding rehearsal, Diana broke down, sobbing her eyes out over it.
Ugh, not a good start.
I know.
To a marriage.
After the wedding rehearsal, it's so... Okay, then, this is, I think, purely gossip, and I really hope it's not true. I don't think it's true.
Blind item.
It's kind of. There were rumors that Charles and Camilla slept together the night after the wedding rehearsal.
That's quite scandalous.
But Andrew Parker Bowles denied it.
How does he know? I don't know if I trust him.
Diana believed it. I don't know. It was like
so Diana heard this rumor.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it was a rumor circulating
at the time.
Yeah, at the time.
Uh-oh. I think I believe it now.
I don't know. I don't know how Andrew Parker Bowles knows.
He's just trying to save face. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing to be cheated on.
Charles did send Diana a letter. Like, I didn't do any research on Diana, really, but, like, this just came up in the books I was reading. He sent her a letter the day before the wedding saying, "I'm so proud of you, and when you come up, I'll be there at the altar for you tomorrow. Just look him in the eye and knock him dead."
Wow.
So cute.
Wait, who said that?
Charles.
To
Diana.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, it is sweet. So it's confusing.
I think he really did want to love Diana. He genuinely had, like, not feelings for her, but didn't have any ill will feelings towards her and felt bad for her.
I think he did. And then I guess the night before the wedding, this is in the Sally Bedell book, apparently Charles was in a contemplative mood looking out the window at the fireworks, and I don't know how he got alone. Like, you would think he would be with all these people, but apparently he was alone and he started crying, and his friend Stephen Barry, I don't know who that is, asked him what was wrong, and Charles said, "Is it possible to love two women at the same time?"
Kind of Bella of him.
I know, it's so true. Very Twilight. I wonder if Charles has seen or read Twilight.
I don't know. I feel like that might bring up a lot of, you know...
He might relate. I bet he would like it.
He probably would. I'm sure someone... Didn't we say this in the old podcast? Has a royal family.
Oh, yeah. I think we have.
I think we did. We're like, the queen must have. No, she probably
I bet Camilla has. I just have a feeling.
Oh, Camilla definitely has.
Okay, so during Charles and Diana's wedding, this is so bad. Apparently Diana was so fixated on Camilla, who's there, that as she walked up the aisle, she looked everywhere until she found her.
During the wedding?
Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
That's
supposedly
bad.
I know.
I feel bad for her.
Until she found her nemesis, it said. So now Charles and Diana are married. And I was telling you that the other day I was watching their wedding video and I felt so overwhelmed. I like almost started crying. It was just so, oh my gosh. When, like, they come out and they go in this carriage and this whole crowd of people, they're all cheering.
That's my weakness. Crowds, Kelly's the same way.
Yeah.
Crowds of people will get me emotional unlike anything else, especially applause.
Yes.
Applause, like, makes me instantly cry.
I was so overwhelmed. It was beautiful, honestly. And I was happy for them.
Yeah.
I'm getting overwhelmed. Okay, so they're married now. They spent time together. Obviously, went on a honeymoon. But Charles still needed his alone time to paint, read, and write letters, and it bothered Diana.
Alone time is important.
I know. Diana apparently found pictures of Camilla in his diary, as well as cufflinks with entwined C's. So she kind of freaked out about that.
Yeah.
And, yeah, Charles, as time went on, went to think that Diana had no hobbies or inner resources. So I feel like, I'm going to say more about this, but I really feel like they just didn't go together.
Yeah.
They just were not compatible.
They didn't have a strong foundation to start. Like, they needed that friendship to begin their relationship. Because obviously, I think Diana did have hobbies. Like, I think she's remembered as being a very interesting person. But he just couldn't see it because they just weren't aligned.
And as time went on, Diana became much more popular than Charles with the public, as probably everybody knows. She became pregnant, and when she was 3 months pregnant, apparently she discovered love letters between Charles and Camilla in his desk drawer. I think they were old, but I'm not sure. She was very upset.
Say it again.
Just wait for that. Are they right outside? Wait, I'm just gonna wait. Actually, I might go to the bathroom right now.
Okay.
I'm just gonna leave it going though.
I like
Your skirt.
Oh, thanks. Kind of a classic skirt of mine.
We have with us here a little tin that I got in an antique store. It has Charles and Diana on it.
What does it say?
The marriage of the Prince of Wales and Lady Diana Spencer, 29 July 1981.
People were so excited about that wedding. And it seems like it's like the pressure not only for him to get married, it's kind of a business opportunity. Like, I would imagine there's a lot of profit there with the wedding, even though it's expensive to throw it. But there's like little things like that, like that people can buy merchandise about the happy couple, and people get really into nationalism celebrating the wedding. So I feel like the spectacle of it,
people need that. It does seem very fun.
Especially, I don't know what else was going on like in the world at that point. What time?
81.
Oh, 81. I don't know. I guess there's always something going on.
So back to the story. Diana was 3 months pregnant when she discovered love letters between Charles and Camilla in his desk drawer.
Oh, that's upsetting.
And apparently she fell down the stairs on purpose, which is crazy. I don't know if that's true. I don't know.
That doesn't sound good.
It's been recounted a couple times, but the baby was okay, luckily, and so was she. Charles thought she had violent mood swings and self-pity, which he also has been accused of having self-pity, so I don't know. I do think Diana had a lot of mental health issues, and I don't think Charles knew how to deal with that. In the Bedell Smith book, I hope I'm saying her last name right, she said that Diana resisted treatment for mental health, which she saw as a way to control her. But I am confused about that because I also thought I've read before that, like, nobody really helped her get help, so I don't know what the truth is with that. But
yeah, were they trying to help her?
I don't completely know. I guess Charles tried to appease her and please her for a while, but I think it started to wear at him. And they started fighting a lot. Like, they had fights about things like her being late to the Festival of Remembrance to commemorate the British war dead. They got in a big fight about that, I guess. Like, just things like that. And, like, this is what I think. First of all, I think that they didn't have much in common and weren't a great match. But I also think that they kind of suffered from the same things.
Yeah.
And I think they both struggled with the loneliness and the criticism and the embarrassment of everything. And I think it frustrated Charles that he felt like she couldn't just deal with it like he did. But, of course, he had, like, his whole life to learn how to deal with it. And she was new to it. Yeah. And I think because they both were kind of needy people in a way, they couldn't help each other.
Yeah.
You know?
They both had something lacking.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, Princess Margaret apparently said they were two very needy people, so I don't know. But she was okay and gave birth to William June 21st, 1982. I'm sure you guys know Prince William.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
William.
Yes. There was continued suspicion about Camilla. I don't know. She's always like in the shadows.
Lurking.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Apparently, Diana called Camilla the Rottweiler, while Camilla called Diana that ridiculous creature.
Oh, so things are heating up.
Yeah.
We're kind of really past when they just got lunch together.
I know, we are. I have this quote. Okay, this is from the Daily Express. Said that psychologists might say that for a man... I don't know why I put this quote here, because I feel like it should have been way later, but psychologists might say that for a man who had precious little mothering during his formative years, Camilla would, in other circumstances, be Charles's ideal partner. So, I don't know, I guess he just saw her as kind of a mother figure.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a little bit older than him.
Yep.
Yeah, someone who hasn't had any mothering in his childhood and has that void, he shouldn't be with someone younger than him.
Yeah, I know. I don't think that's what he really wanted. So, a year after their marriage, Diana was getting all the attention in the press. And they were fighting, but Charles and Diana wanted to be hands-on parents, and they seemed happy parenting William together, actually. But they did have increasingly more fights when they weren't with William. And apparently Diana would say things like, "You'll never be king," and "You look ridiculous in all those medals." And his cousin said that after one argument, he was kneeling to pray before bed, and Diana was hitting him over the head and kept fighting while he was praying.
Ooh, it doesn't sound healthy.
I mean, I know he probably upset her because he could be, like, distant and probably said weird things like whatever in love means, and the whole Camilla thing. Like, I don't think he's totally innocent. Like, I can see why he maybe would upset her, but I do think she could be mean back to him.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I believe it. And I adore Diana just like everybody else. But I just think when two people are not a match and they're not meant to be together, there's neither of them are right or wrong. It's just never gonna work out.
It's sad. And yeah, Diana didn't want him to see any of his friends that were in the same circle as Camilla anymore. Apparently she also didn't want him to have his dog from that time, Harvey, and Harvey was banished to live with an advisor.
Okay, that's
I know.
That's not fair.
I don't like that. He got another dog, but
I mean, he should not be keeping in touch with Camilla.
I know, he shouldn't. He should not. He did get another dog, but Diana didn't like that dog either.
Oh, okay.
Charles and Diana did like rock music though, and like they kind of bonded because he would throw these like concerts to benefit his charity, the Princess Trust. Like the money would go towards it, so I think she liked that. In 1983, Diana was pregnant again. Charles wanted it to be a girl, and apparently Diana knew it was a boy from an ultrasound, but kept that from her husband until she gave birth.
Oh, wow. And I know that people speculate that Harry is not really his child. Do you have anything on that?
I don't have anything on that.
I mean, it's just rumors, so
but
we don't need to entertain it.
I read that I think there were redheads in his family.
Yeah, I don't think it's crazy for a redhead to be.
Yeah. Because there was something about, like, he said something like, oh, he has ginger hair, but, like, there were people in his family with red hair, so I don't know.
I don't think it's, like, that absurd.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. I didn't read anything about that. It didn't come up.
Charles,
yes. Charles. So, Prince Henry Charles Albert David, born September 15th, 1984, Prince Harry. I guess after Harry was born, that was kind of like the end of Charles and Diana's marriage sexually. I don't know how people know that, but I feel like there's so much known about the royals. It's like another level.
Yeah.
Compared to normal
there's no
celebrities.
privacy.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Charles moved into his own bedroom, I guess, and he brought his old teddy bear.
Oh. What's the teddy bear's name?
I don't know.
That's sweet.
He upset Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher because he said something about he wanted to force his way through parliamentary red tape and save the city from being split into haves and have-nots. And apparently Prime Minister Thatcher told him, "I run this country, not you, sir."
Yeah. Good for her.
And he opposed the conservative government policies, but the royal family isn't supposed to get involved in politics, so...
Wait, what did he say? Sorry, I just said good for
He
her,
said-
and I don't even know what he was arguing.
He said he wanted to save the city from being split into haves and have-nots.
Oh, wait, that's a good
I
argument.
know.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It just made me sound like I
It
was
funny.
like...
I don't know. I mean, some people might agree with you. He wasn't supposed to be saying things like that, but I don't know. I guess the royal family is supposed to always stay, like, neutral. Like, they don't get involved in
That
politics.
makes sense.
Yeah.
No, but he had a good...
His heart was in the right
yeah.
place. Yeah. So, I guess by 1986, after 5 years of marriage and lots of misery, apparently apparently Charles had given up. Charles truly believed he had turned himself inside and out for Diana, but he couldn't do it anymore. Up for debate. If he did turn himself inside and out, I don't know. I think they're just incompatible.
You can't make your, like, heart love someone that you just do not love.
I know.
I understand that.
Yeah.
He can't force himself to feel what he doesn't feel.
Yeah. It's sad. So, this is when I would say Act 3 starts with Camilla.
Oh, okay.
In 1986. She was 39 and he was 37.
So, at this point, while he's been married, they haven't been sleeping together, right?
They were, but not since Harry was born, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean him and...
Oh, no.
Camilla.
No, him and Camilla have not. No.
Okay.
And there's conflicting things about whether they were even, like, talking or... I don't think they were in touch as much as they used to be.
She's just on his mind.
Yeah. And I think they still see them sometimes. The Parker Bowles. Both Charles and Camilla enjoyed hunting, gardening, and painting. And apparently he felt no one else understood him like Camilla did. And later on, when, like, the news of all this came out, the prince was adamant that he was only with Camilla after his marriage had broken down. And his friends said that he had virtually no contact with Camilla from 1981 to 1986. But as I just said, others say that they were in touch. So, who knows? When asked about it in 1995, Diana said she did know about Charles and Camilla's affair. She said, "Yes, I did. Yes, I was, but I wasn't in a position to do anything about it."
Yeah.
Oh, I said read page 239, but I didn't say why. Let's see what it says.
Let's find out.
That's also not the right page. Oh my god. Oh, okay. So he was adamant that at the start of the marriage, at least, he turned to Camilla simply for solace, not for sex. Camilla was a habit he could not break, an obsession he did not want to conquer, said Stephen Barry. Oh yeah, he came up earlier. Barry claimed that even in the immediate aftermath of his marriage, Charles would telephone Camilla from his office most days. If it was impossible to call, he would write a letter, which would be smuggled out without the princess's knowledge. It was extraordinary. The prince simply had to be in constant contact with Camilla, or he could not function properly. If he went without his daily phone call, he would become tetchy and ill-tempered. Although Diana maintained that once she clearly overheard Charles on his telephone in the bathroom, telling Camilla, "Whatever happens, I will always love you," the prince's friends protest that Stephen Barry's account of Charles' behavior is greatly exaggerated. They point out, too, that the former valet is conveniently dead so that his testimony cannot be tested. So, I don't know.
It's probably true.
There's probably
He
some
can't
truth to
resist it anymore.
Yeah. So Camilla and her husband at this time were like, they would still go out and socialize together, but otherwise they went their separate ways. They weren't like living together anymore. People wonder, why not Diana? Why, like, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
Why isn't he into her? Okay, I have another thing to read to answer that question. And obviously, stuff like this is so subjective, you know? Like, some people are really into somebody and some
Well, a lot
aren't.
of people look good on paper, but
Yeah.
it's just not a match.
So, okay. This is also in the point of view of Giles Brandreth.
Okay.
So, his words, not mine. Charles had another problem too. Diana was beautiful. Her beauty was a delight for us and a gift to picture editors, but a challenge for Charles and to an extent for Diana also. The eminent Irish psychiatrist, Professor Anthony Clare, told me, "You can be too beautiful. Extremes are difficult for human beings to cope with. Great physical beauty does not lead to happiness. Marilyn Monroe wasn't very happy. Princess Diana wasn't very happy. Blah, blah, blah." There are exceptions to every rule, but as a generalization, successful couples tend to be of a comparable age, educational ability, and attractiveness. On a scale of beauty from 1 to 10, a contented couple might expect to be within a point or two of one another. If you look at the photographs, you can see that when they were young, Princess Elizabeth was beautiful, truly so, and Prince Philip was handsome, astonishingly so.
Yeah.
With Charles and Diana, it was different. On a scale of beauty, he hovered around a 5, while on a good day, at least in the eyes of the average beholder, she veered between 8 and 10.
Oh my god.
I know! Charles was made painfully aware of this particular element in their mismatch. For example, on a tour together in Australia in 1985, they went on a repeated walkabout, and when Charles climbed out of the official car, he would hear the crowds giving off involuntary groan of disappointment, as if they were on the side that he, rather than Diana, was set to work. He listened to the crowds and heard their disappointment. "Oh no, she's on the wrong side." He leafed through the newspapers and saw photographs of Diana and her dazzling smile and contrasted them with the cartoons of himself that inevitably featured his protuberant ears. Diana was treated as an iconic beauty, a dream princess come true. He was regarded, he felt, at best as a bit of a letdown, at worst as a figure of fun. He was disconcerted, hurt, and undermined by the fatuous remarks and insults, rude comments shouted out, gestures made, plastic masks waved about, woundingly unnecessary things written in the papers about me, etc. With Camilla, of course, none of these problems will apply. Camilla is attractive, and her grooming and her wardrobe, especially since her engagement, have been faultless, but her looks don't dazzle. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
But
yeah, I do think it would be kind of rough to be with someone where people are always saying, why is she with him? With his big ears.
I know.
That 5. I wouldn't say he's a 5.
I wouldn't say that either.
Honestly, that's quite mean.
I know.
He's normal looking, I would say.
I think when he was young, he was attractive.
He was attractive.
I think he's way more attractive than the guy in the crown. Sorry.
I think he's more attractive than William. Well, not young William, but William now.
I think he's fun. I mean, that's just this guy's opinion.
Yeah.
But I think if their marriage was already rocky, and then I don't know why Charles was reading the newspapers. He shouldn't have been doing that. But already rocky, you're fighting all the time, and then everybody's saying, like, she's so beautiful. Ugh, we don't like you. Like,
yeah, I feel like in a way, and it's wrong, but he would resent Diana for that.
I think he did.
Like, I think if he loved her to start, it would be like, you're right, she is way more beautiful. I don't know what she's doing with me.
Yeah.
But then if people are using that against you all the time to make you feel worse about yourself, you would just want nothing to do with that other person.
I know. I think he really did start to resent her, and he was trying to do all these charities and stuff, and people just did not care. They cared more about, like, her outfits.
What a weird complex that Charles must have, that he's literally a prince and people do not like him.
I know.
That's, like, really...
He's literally royalty. People don't care.
That's sad.
I know. I feel bad for him.
I know, and it's not even because he's, like, a terrible person.
People
isn't. Just think he's, like, a loser.
I really don't think he is a terrible person. But, yeah, he was, back to the story, he was having an affair with Camilla at this point.
Yeah.
Charles would make stealth visits to Camilla. He had one of his most devoted retainers, someone that worked for him, make the 15-minute drive to Middlewick House, where Camilla lived, and deliver notes, packages, and flowers picked by Charles from the garden. Most of the time, Charles and Camilla would spend time at the home of friends, because that was like a safe place to be, and this comes up later in the Camilla Gay tampon phone call, which we will get to.
Yeah.
So, apparently Diana was shattered when she heard of their friend's complicity in Charles's and Camilla's affair. Yeah, I guess a lot of people just, like, went along with it, but it's said to have made Diana a tougher person.
Yeah.
Diana did have her own affairs at this time, too. But I think, the question is, like, who started it? I think it probably was Charles.
Sounds like it was him.
Yeah. So she was totally, in my book, okay to be with other people.
I agree. Once the other person cheats, guys, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I feel like we've established that rule on this podcast.
I know.
I mean, if they're not stopping it, you might as well have some fun.
Yeah. The press started paying attention to how much time Charles and Diana spent apart. Being like, oh,
suspicious.
He's here, she's there. They haven't been seen together in months or something. They went to a wedding, and apparently Diana was on the dance floor dancing with somebody else, and Charles and Camilla just, like, slipped out of the party and left.
Oh, my God.
And it seemed like no one really was trying to care. Like, they weren't keeping up appearances anymore as well, and he was quoted to a friend saying, "I just want to be with her," meaning Camilla, all the time. And another friend said he fantasized about escaping to Italy with Camilla and living in exile, but it was just a dream. But by autumn 1988, the affair was starting to leak beyond their closest circle. Like, I think the press was catching Camilla in pictures, and they didn't know who she was, but they were saying, like, his female confidant or whatever.
Yeah.
As those tabloids do. They come up with, like, little names for people and stuff.
Yeah, his gal pal.
Yeah, just Charles and his gal pal. But he was still lonely, I guess. Like, he didn't see Camilla all the time. And she made him happy, but the happiness was dampened by their marital deceptions. And he felt that Diana continued to drain him emotionally and upstage him publicly. But apparently in 1989, Diana approached Camilla at a birthday party and asked her to leave.
Whose birthday party?
Oh, leave Charles alone. I'm not sure. Just like a friend or something. Charles always kept Camilla out of Harry and William's sight. And then in 1989, this is when a sleepy 12-minute conversation between Charles and Camilla was recorded that occurred around midnight on Sunday, December 17th, 1989. The tape became public 4 years later, forever known as Camilla Gate. But I'm going to return to it when it comes out.
That makes sense.
I'm not going to get too into it yet. But it's crazy. It seems like people still don't know how it was taped or who recorded it.
Wait, that is very weird because it's a phone call.
It is a phone call. I know. There's like this whole page in here. It's like a footnote, but it takes up the entire page in really small writing about how there was all this stuff about, like, was it the government? Were they spying on the royal family? And they said, no, it wasn't us. And then they were saying it was a private individual that somehow tapped their phones and, like...
Could it have been either of them, Camilla,
no,
or...
definitely not.
No, okay.
It, like, ruined their lives.
We have to look at the two people in question.
Yeah. No, I really don't think so. It also starts, like, in the middle. It's, like, weird. I do think someone was trying to spy on them to take down the royal family.
Wow.
I know.
Well, they got some good juice there.
They really did. And I feel kind of bad sharing it because I know Charles hated how invasive the press was and stuff, but I'm gonna read the transcript.
I mean, it's out there. Charles, don't hate us, don't behead us, please.
Yeah, don't. They can't do that anymore.
Off with your head.
Off with your head.
Kelly's actually a citizen of Ireland. Wait, no, you don't have control over Ireland.
That's true.
Northern Ireland, you do.
We're going to get back to the call when it comes out. But on June 28th, 1990, Charles was playing polo and there was an accident. I guess he fell off the horse and then another horse fell on top of him and kicked him. And he fractured his upper arm.
Oh.
Yeah. Camilla raced to the hospital to his bedside.
Not a good look.
But Diana didn't come till the next day.
Oh, that's not good.
I know. And apparently Diana said something like, do you think you might have learned your lesson about polo now? Like, I don't know. She didn't feel that bad for him. Camilla visited him while he healed, and she would come with other people, and, like, even her husband for cover.
She's really not hiding it.
I know. Well, she brought other people with her, but she's bold. And she would smoke on ashtrays that Charles provided for her, which was sweet because Charles actually hated smoking and had, like, a ban on it in the palace, but he let her smoke because...
That's sweet.
He loves her. Yeah. And she smoked like a pack a day.
Wow. That's why she's got that husky voice.
Yeah, husky voice.
Did she quit eventually?
I don't know.
I'm
not sure. Diana felt humiliated that Charles preferred to spend so much time with Camilla. Understandable. And she taped a series of interviews where she talked about it. They hadn't come out yet, though, I don't think. And according to friends, Charles started acting strangely. He would like abruptly leave the dinner table, and he would change the conversation whenever Diana was mentioned. The Duchess of Devonshire, I just have this random quote saying that Charles said he had no friends among his family apart from the Queen Mother, his grandmother.
I'm sure she's getting up there in age.
She was. This family lives so long.
Crazy.
Oh my gosh. I actually
do
Googled,
not
like,
die.
what does the Queen eat? Because it's crazy.
Their longevity is quite impressive. I mean, even both of his parents, who are not too closely related, they are related to each other, though. But they both lived very long. His dad died at what, like 100? Or 99?
She's what, like 96 right now
She's
or something?
going on strong. She had COVID. She bounced back right after that.
That's incredible.
I know.
Yeah, it's nuts. 1992, Prince Andrew and Sarah Fergie, divorced. And the same year, Princess Anne and her husband, Mark Phillips, divorced.
Oh my god, something's in the air.
And it was a very upsetting year for the Queen. And turns out both Anne and Mark had been unfaithful, and Princess Anne apparently had been cheating with Andrew Parker Bowles.
Wow. Small world.
I know.
Small world.
Everyone's just swapping partners, I guess.
Andrew's really like Andrew Parker Bowles.
I know.
He doesn't give a fuck.
He doesn't. He doesn't. Yeah, apparently there was even a part in one of the books where it was like he didn't think much about the prince. He was kind of just like honored to be hanging around with them.
Fun,
yeah.
Honestly.
I think he was kind of a shitty guy, but yeah, he's chill at the same time. The Queen was very, very upset about this. Then, the same year, the Sunday Times published the first installment of Diana, Her True Story, where she really paints Charles in a terrible light and the whole royal family.
Is that the interview where she's like, well, there was 3 of us
I
in
think
this marriage?
so, yeah.
Yeah.
And there were copies delivered to the palace, and I guess when Diana spotted the copy, she retreated to her room, and Charles was reading it while he was eating breakfast and was apparently silent. And there was an interior designer there, Robert Keim, who said it was horrific.
Oh my god.
And within minutes after the designer left, apparently Diana was running downstairs out the car crying, and then Charles went out to the garden to pace around.
Okay, I know that's like not fun and like really bad, but like a little drama. I don't know.
It was a lot of drama.
You know, gives you something to be heated about.
Apparently it was a devastating and unprecedented blow to the entire royal family.
Yes. I mean, come on though. Like, think of like how the high standards that like Elizabeth needed to have. Then like all of her kids are just getting divorced. They're cheating.
It was very upsetting.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be pissed if I was the Queen too. She never says anything about how she feels. She keeps everything to herself.
Yeah.
She just suffers in silence, you know. And she thinks that's the way it should be.
And that's how she was forced to be.
Yeah, we just need to be stable, you know. And then for this generation to be like, just like all over the place, and going to the press. It's even worse now. I mean, maybe it's the same, but like Meghan Markle and stuff. But yeah, the Queen was not happy, and at first Diana lied about participating in the book. She tried to say it wasn't true, but it was. And the Queen and Prince Philip summoned Charles and Diana and like sat them down and tried to say basically like, can you work this out? Like, stop fighting, whatever.
They said no.
I don't know what they said, but Philip was apparently really angry and like raging, and Charles was mute, and
it's like their kid's in trouble.
I know. Reporters caught up to Camilla when she was at a polo match with her husband, and they asked her about it, and she said, "I'm certainly not going to bury myself away because of what the papers say." She said, "Absolutely not. Why should I?" But she actually was like really rattled. She fled to Wales to stay with a friend, and then she went to Venice with her sister, and the press found her, and they said she looked tired and pale. Charles tried to distract himself by playing polo and launching his Institute of Architecture. Around this time, Charles was advocating for a leaner image for the monarchy, reducing the number of royal families eligible for the Civil List Alliance. In a memo he wrote, he wondered if Britons believed that there were too many members with money spent on them. Which is kind of respectable. I mean, the reason why the Queen is so stressed about this kind of stuff is a lot of people are trying to just get rid of the monarchy. Like,
no, that makes sense.
they need to seem like they're good people at least.
Yeah.
And
they're causing drama, then it gives people
a reason to say, like, yeah, why are we even supporting these people, you know?
I do think for Charles, it's very easy for you to be like, there's too many royal members who are making money when you're like the heir to the throne.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I know.
kind of fuck you. If I'm your cousin, I'm going to be pretty mad at you.
I know, but I do think he has a point.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people they did have on the civil list, but I don't know.
It's not fair. It's not fair that
It's not
taxpayers'
fair.
money
Yeah.
are going to people who were just born into this.
And the main people do a lot. Like, basically every day they're opening things at museums, or they're helping charities, or they're visiting
they
people.
do a lot for
they're
the
doing all these
country.
things, but I think some of the people on the outskirts maybe aren't doing as much.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but...
No, I believe you. I don't think
Yeah.
they are.
I'm sure he did piss people off, though, that he said that. The Windsor Castle actually had a fire, and to pay for the repairs, they opened some of it up for the public for tours rather than use public money, which was, like, very new at the time. And I went to Windsor Castle, had a good time, so thank you guys for doing that. But yeah, it's interesting at this time in history, like the early 90s, it seems like they're starting to feel the pressure to spend less money. You know, they have to be a little thriftier about things. Like, they can't just get money for everything anymore.
Yeah.
So, and they do have all these businesses that they're doing and stuff, so I don't know, like the Queen opens her gift shop, which I also bought something there. You're welcome. Camilla was asked about Charles and Diana by a reporter, and she said, "If something has gone wrong, I'm very sorry for them, but I know nothing more than the average person on the street. I only know what I see on television." Obviously not true.
I don't think so.
But I guess she's just trying to protect herself, but obviously it's not true.
Yeah. She sounds media trained there.
Yeah, she does. There's really not many interviews at all with Camilla. Like, you really can't find much about her. It's crazy. So, then, after this whole, debacle with the Diana interview thing, January 17th, 1993, the Camilla Gate tape came out.
Okay, I'm excited to hear
The
about
entire
this.
transcript was printed in the Sunday Mirror. It's spooky. No one knows who exactly recorded it. So, I remember a couple of years ago, I listened to it. Somehow I found it on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
You did too, right?
Yeah.
But I could not find it
Oh,
this time around. I was looking everywhere.
Wow.
I should have downloaded it. I don't know if, because of the crown, somehow the royal family was like, we gotta get that
so
off the
it's
internet.
not just easy to find on YouTube.
No.
That's so weird.
I was searching like crazy. I did find a really small snippet. I guess I'll play it just so you can hear their voices, and if I do find it, maybe I'll put it in, but I couldn't find it. Okay.
I can't bear a Sunday night without you.
Oh, God, I fill up your tank.
Yes, you do.
As you go, trouble is I need you several times a week.
So do I. I need you all the week. All the time.
All right. I mean, wouldn't we do anything to have this from Rob and Kristen or something?
Oh my god, I would die.
I mean, I am...
I don't want someone to tap their phone
I know.
calls, though, but...
It's disturbing. Okay. So, this is at midnight, and it seems like Charles is really sleepy, so the author of the book, Giles, is guessing that he's lying in bed while Camilla's still up.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
That makes sense.
Okay, so...
And your inhibitions at that hour
Yes.
as well
Yeah.
are quite low.
Okay. Charles says, how am I gonna, should I say Charles said, Camilla said, or just go back,
Can you do a man voice?
I'll try. I mean, his voice is I can't do it.
Too bad I don't have the script
thought-
as well, so
I
you
know.
could act it out.
So Charles says, he thought he might have gone a bit far. Camilla says, oh well. Anyway, that's the sort of thing one has to be aware of, and sort of feel one's way along with, if you know what I mean. Camilla says, you're awfully good at feeling your way along. Charles, oh stop. I want to feel my way along you, all over you, and up and down, you and in and out. Camilla. Oh. Charles. Particularly in and out.
Oh my god.
Camilla. Oh, that's just what I need at the moment. Charles. Is it? Camilla. I know it would revive me. I can't bear a Sunday night without you. This is the part we just heard. Charles. Oh god. It's like that program, Start of the Week. I can't start the week without you. Charles. I fill up your tank.
Oh my god.
Yes, you do. Then you can cope. Then I'm all right. What about me? The trouble is, I need you several times a week, all the time. Camilla. So do I. I need you all the week, all the time. Charles. Oh god, I'll just live inside your trousers or something. It would be much easier.
Oh my god.
Camilla. What are you going to turn into? A pair of knickers? Both are laughing. Oh, you're going to come back as a pair of knickers? Charles. Or, God forbid, a Tampax. Just my luck. He laughs. Camilla. You are a complete idiot. Oh, what a wonderful idea. My luck to be chucked down the lavatory and going on and on forever, swirling round on top, never going down.
Oh my god.
Oh, darling. Until the next one comes through. Or perhaps you could just come back as a box. What sort of box? A box of Tampax, so you could just keep going. That's true. Repeating yourself. Oh, darling, I just want you now. You do? So do I. Camilla. Desperately, desperately, desperately. Oh, I thought of you so much at Garrowby. Did you? Simply mean we couldn't be there together. Desperate. If you could be here, I long to ask Nancy sometimes. Why don't you? I daren't. Because I think she's in love with you. She'd do anything you asked. Charles. She'd tell all sorts of people. Camilla. No, she wouldn't, because she'd be much too frightened of what you might say to her. I think I'm afraid it's a terrible thing to say, but I think, these sort of people feel very strongly about you. You've got such a great hold over her. Really? And I think, as usual, you're underestimating yourself. But she might be terribly jealous or something. Camilla. Oh. Ha. She laughs. Now that is a point. I wonder, she might be, I suppose. Charles. You never know, do you? Camilla. No, the little green-eyed monster might be lurking inside her. No, but I mean, the thing is, you're so good when people are so flattered to be taken into your confidence. But I don't know, they'd betray you. Real friends. Really? I don't. Gone to sleep? No, I'm here. Darling, listen, I talked to David tonight again. It might not be any good. Oh, no. I'll tell you why. He's got these children, one of those Crowley girls, and their nanny's staying. I'm going to ring him again tomorrow. He's going to try to put them off till Friday. But I thought, as an alternative, perhaps I might ring up Charlie.
Wait, who are these people they're talking about?
So, I think this is them trying to find a place to go.
Oh, to do it.
I guess.
Okay.
I don't know. Because, remember, they apparently go to their friends' houses or something.
Yeah.
And so she's saying it's not going to work out with him because he's got these children that are going to be there. And Camilla says, "Oh my god, I don't know if she just means then we can spend the night there and hang out, or if she literally means to have sex." Because she says, and then we could see if we could do it there. I know he's back on Thursday. Charles, it's quite a lot further away. Camilla, oh, is it? Charles, well, I'm trying to think. Coming from Newmarket. Coming from Newmarket to me at that time of night, you could probably do it in 2 3/4. It takes me 3. Charles, to what? To, Bowood? Northmore. To go to Bowood would be the same as me, really, wouldn't it?
Planning out the logistics of it is not that sexy.
I mean to say you would suggest going to Bowood, eh? No, not at all. Which Charlie, then? What Charlie did you think I was talking about? I didn't know because I thought you meant I've got lots. Somebody else. I've got lots of friends called Charlie. The other one, Patty's. Oh, there. Oh, that's further away. They've gone. I don't know. It's just, just a thought if I had fell through the other place. Oh, right. Yeah, they go on. Mm-hmm. What do? Go on the M25 instead of M4? Yes, they, are planning the logistics. Yeah. It's kind of cool to read.
Do they get back into, the sexting of it?
They do. Okay, so he's talking about some speech he's working on, and she says, "Can I have a copy of the one you've just done?" Yes. Camilla. Can I? I'd like it. Okay, I'll organize it. Darling. But oh God, when am I going to speak to you? I can't bear it. Wednesday night? Oh, certainly Wednesday night. I'll be all alone. Wednesday, the evening, or Tuesday. While you're rushing around doing things, I'll be, alone until it reappears. And early Wednesday morning, he'll be leaving 8:30. I think that means, Andrew Parker Bowles. He won't be here Thursday, pray God. That ambulance strike, it's a terrible thing to say this. I suppose it won't have come to an end by Thursday. I don't know, there's some strike going on. It's so funny. They're going on trying to figure out how they're going to see each other and when they're going to talk again. It would be so wonderful to have just one night to set on our way, wouldn't it? Charles, wouldn't it? To wish you a happy Christmas. Camilla, happy. Oh, don't let's think about Christmas. I can't bear it. Going to sleep? Because I think there's a long pause. I think you'd better, don't you, darling? Yes, darling. I think you've exhausted yourself by all that hard work. You must go to sleep now, darling. Yes, darling. Camilla says, will you ring me when you wake up? Yes, I will. Before I have those rampaging children around. It's Tom's birthday tomorrow. You all right? I'm all right. Camilla says, can I talk to you, I hope, before those rampaging children? What time do they come in? Well, usually Tom never wakes up at all, but it's his birthday tomorrow. So they're like planning when they're going to talk on the phone next. Camilla says, yeah, if you can. Love you, darling. Night, darling. I love you. I love you too. I don't want to say goodbye. Aww. That was Charles. Well done for doing that. You're a clever old thing. An awfully good brain lurking in there, isn't it? Oh, darling, I think you ought to give the brain a rest now. Night, night. Night, darling. God bless. I do love you, and I'm so proud of you. That's Camilla. Charles. Oh, I'm so proud of you. Don't be silly. I've never achieved anything. Charles. Yes, you have. Camilla. No, you haven't. Charles. Your greatest achievement is to love me.
Oh, my God.
Oh, darling. Easier than falling off a chair. Charles. You suffer all those indignities and tortures and calamities. Camilla. Oh, darling. Don't be silly. I'd suffer anything for you. That's love. That's the strength of love. Night, night. Night, darling. Sounds as though you're dragging an enormous piece of string behind you with hundreds of tin pots and cans attached to it. Must be your telephone. Night, night, before the battery goes. Blows a kiss. Night. It keeps going, actually.
Oh my God, there's a whole page?
I love you. I don't want to say goodbye. Neither do I, but I must get some sleep. Bye. Bye, darling. I love you. Bye. Hopefully talk to you in the morning. Please. Bye. I love you. Night. 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 Love you forever. Night. Goodbye, my darling. Night. Night, night. Night.
Oh my God.
Bye-bye. Going. Bye. Going. Gone. Night. Press the button. Going to press the tit. All right, darling, I wish you were pressing mine. God, I wish I was. Harder and harder.
Oh my God.
Oh, darling. Night. Night. I love you. Love you. Press the tit. That's Camilla. Adore you. Night. 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 Camilla blows a kiss. Night. Good night, my darling. Love you.
Oh my God.
I know.
They're in love. I mean,
know.
that's love. Whatever love is, that's love. But I mean,
crazy.
I mean, it's hot. I'll be honest with you. I mean, they can't resist it. When you feel something that strongly,
I know. They can't even say goodbye.
How are you? Yeah. I mean, how is he gonna walk away from that? I mean, that sounds like it's like a drug almost.
I know. I'm sorry, but it's so cute.
They're like teenagers.
I know, and they're like 40. Yeah. It's so cute.
They can't waste that. It's sad, but like he's not gonna stay in a loveless marriage when he feels that way for Camilla.
I can't believe that. Also, the comment about like your greatest achievement is loving me sounds arrogant. It kind of is, but I feel like he was trying to put himself down by that, being like, I'm so unlovable that your greatest achievement is loving me.
Yeah, he doesn't have a way with words. But honestly, that Tampax comment is kind of hard.
I know.
He's a little bit of a sexter.
Yeah, he is.
Like, he'd be really good in this like modern age.
He'd be a box.
Yeah.
So he can just keep going.
Oh my God. He probably like gives a good head.
Mel looks shy to say that.
Well, I just realized my mom's listening. Whatever.
We don't know what that means.
No, I don't know what that means.
We just heard. He did. Charles, wow.
Yeah.
I think it's just so cute. They take forever to say goodbye. Like, that is adorable.
That is adorable. Those people who tapped that phone must have been like, oh
they
my
hit the
God, jackpot.
Think of how many random calls he probably makes. They're just like,
oh, yeah, it was so boring.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Will you speak at this event? Yes. Like,
yeah. But that is such a violation of privacy.
Yes, it is.
That is tough.
I know. I am so thrilled we have this, but I do feel bad. And apparently after they were really freaked out and like
probably didn't have calls like that for a while.
I don't think they did.
I mean, they probably shouldn't be, but...
I know. The other book I read, the Sally Bedell Smith book, said the terrible irony for Charles, who had spoken and written endlessly on behalf of his myriad causes, the words that would stick in the public's mind would be his wish to live inside Camilla's trousers as a Tampax.
That's... Elizabeth must be so mad about this.
She was. Yeah. I mean, she doesn't show much emotion, but I'm pretty sure she was like, that's it.
Yeah. Like, are you serious?
This was huge, though. Like, it was made fun of in Saturday Night Live, cartoons. I mean, we were too young to remember.
I mean, how embarrassing. Like,
no, we weren't even alive yet, but...
I would be embarrassed just, like, if, like, a group of 10 people overheard that conversation. The whole world.
I know.
That's awful.
I know.
The fact that they even survived that is crazy.
I'm just going to treasure this. I'm going to just pull this book out whenever I need a good mood and just read that.
Yeah.
I love it. But Charles' approval rating went way down. You know how they do those polls all the time.
Yeah, understandable.
His approval rating was now at a low 4%. Before he married Diana, 70% of people said he was the most likable person in the royal family.
How low did it go?
4.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Those 4%ers
I know.
are...
They're loyal. Must be the old ladies.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, this was bad. Camilla had to stay in hiding after this, and she felt like she couldn't even call Charles because she was afraid her phone was tapped. And you see in the conversation how much Camilla encourages him. She says so many times, like, "Oh, that big old brain of yours.
Yeah, I'm proud of you."
Yeah. She says, like, all his friends admire him and stuff. Like, she's just complimenting him left and right. I think he needed a lot of assurance. It's just, it's just what he needs. I have this quote from again, it's like an immediate family member who, and is it true? I don't know. But an immediate family member apparently once told the author of Giles that Charles has always needed a comforter. What he gets from Camilla is what he used to get from his nurse. He never got that from Diana.
Yeah.
And that made me think love languages?
That's true. That's super important for your love language. I just can't stop thinking about the fact that him and Diana only went on 13 dates, and then he goes away for 6 months. That's basically resetting your back to the beginning.
I know. It's crazy.
It didn't have a good start.
No. It's sad. And it's tough because you can't really say like, oh, they should have never been together, because... Now, this Harry and William, and they have kids, and, like, it's meant to be, I guess, in a way, but, like, it is still so sad. Yeah, so, people really hated Charles and Camilla, and a lot of people still do because of this, and paparazzi was following them everywhere, and then there was that story about women throwing rolls at Camilla at a supermarket, which apparently wasn't true, but it was believable because that's how much people hated her. But Charles went to the U.S. and he spoke at the College of William and Mary, and the audience greeted him with cheers, whistles, and applause, and standing ovation. And he was apparently visibly touched. And the Daily Mail said he hadn't seen a welcome like that in England for a long time.
Wow, because Americans were like, yeah. You dirty guy.
Yeah, we love it.
Drama.
Yeah. He often felt like, I think he felt more liked in places like America and Australia for whatever reason. Yeah. And I feel like that's true here too, like even now, like with the younger royals. I feel like I read things about people in England not liking them or whatever.
Yeah, like people are like really like judgmental of Meghan Markle, it seems, over there, and like over here it's like whatever.
I think most people like her. I don't know. Charles and Diana were now basically living separate lives. They basically had been the whole time, but still married. Then there was this broadcast of a TV documentary called Charles, a Private Man, the Public Role. It was 2.5 hours long, and he had been filming this. He let this director, Jonathan Dimbleby, follow him around for 1.5 years to improve his reputation. And he hadn't been sure how to approach the infidelity in the documentary, so he decided to just be honest.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play a clip.
Oh.
I get to see Charles's very posh voice.
I mean, all I can say is that, I mean, there is no truth in so much of this speculation. And Mrs. Parker Bowles is a great friend of mine. I have a large number of friends. I'm terribly lucky to have so many friends who I think are wonderful and make the whole difference to my life, which would become intolerable otherwise. And she has been a friend for a very long time, and along with a lot of other friends, and will continue to be a friend for a very long time. And I think also most people probably would realize that when marriages break down, awful and miserable as that is, that so often, you know, that it is your friends who are the most important and helpful and understanding and encouraging. Otherwise, you would go start raving mad. And that's what friends are for.
Understandably, when your marriage collapsed, you form close friendships, you re-establish close friendships of whatever character that friendship is. Did you try to be faithful and honourable to your wife when you took on the vow of marriage?
Yes, absolutely.
And you were?
Yes. Until it became irretrievably broken down. Us both having tried.
You've been very open about all of this and what you've said. Do you now hope that this issue and expect this issue to go away? Is that what you hope will now happen?
Well, it would be nice if it did, from everybody's point of view. I mean, I don't think many other people have to go through this constant attention, not just me, but others, you know, when their marriages break down. I mean, as I've said before, it is a deeply regrettable thing to happen. But it does happen, and unfortunately, in this case, it has happened. I mean, it's the last possible thing that I ever wanted to happen. I'm not a total idiot. I'm not unaware of all these problems. And as I was saying before, this business of predicting what everybody would say, it's not something that I went into marriage, you know, with the intention of this happening, or in any way in a cynical frame of mind. I mean, I'm on the whole not a cynical person, and you know, I'm sounds self-righteous to say so, but I have on the whole tried, I think, to get it right. I mean, constantly, people scrutinizing. So I mean, I have always tried to get it right and try to do the right thing by everybody. So you can imagine it's not a very happy or encouraging thing when this sort of business happens. So obviously it would be nice if, you know, if it could be over and done with. I mean, it has happened. That is that, regrettably.
The end.
Oh, I love when he was like, I mean, I'm not a total idiot. He's like admitting that he's like somewhat an idiot, but I mean, he has a point. Like, it's not really, at the end of the day, a unique situation. So many people, their marriages just do not work out, and divorce is so normal. But for him, he's held to such a different standard from anybody else. He's only human, is what he's trying to say.
If they were just like random people living out in the countryside, it would be like,
no big deal. It's held to such a different standard.
Yeah. I do think it's sad when he says, like, I tried to get it right.
Yeah.
I tried to do the right thing. I feel like that's where he went wrong.
I know.
Obviously, it's nice to try to do right to other people and right by other people, but you really can't live your life trying to please people that way, because it does later on just lead to so many more problems, you know? And, like, it would have hurt Diana to break up with her before the wedding or something. But I think it would have hurt much less than all this, you know what I mean?
You had to lead your life with authenticity.
tried to get it right, tried to do the right thing.
And I do think it really does make him sad that the marriage didn't work out. Like, where he's like, it's a regrettable thing. It's I didn't want this. Like,
yeah.
I do believe him. I genuinely
do too.
believe him and trust him.
I believe him too. I really do think he was like a romantic, and he is very religious too. I don't think he ever wanted to get divorced. I don't know. I do think at the end of the day it was just a very bad match, and he probably should have known a little better because he was older, but I think he was getting pressured by people, you know?
Yeah, and it's something that none of us can understand.
Yeah. Apparently 14 million people watched this confession, and it did not go well.
Yeah.
His honesty did not earn him points with the public at all.
Earned him points with me, honestly.
Why did he admit it on TV? Apparently Camilla had wanted him to avoid discussing their affair, but he was determined to correct the misconception that he was unfaithful from the start. Which I can understand, I guess. Probably everybody was saying he was cheating the whole time. Then, 1995, January 10th, Camilla and Andrew announced their divorce.
Oh, finally.
And fun fact, they sold their house to the drummer of Pink Floyd.
Oh, wow.
Random.
Edgy.
I know. Camilla moved 5 miles away to a picturesque English village, Le Coq, and bought probably French, bought a stone house on 27 acres. And Charles took charge of refurbishing her garden. And
of course.
He had a security system installed, and he also made his staff available to her. Okay, so then, in like an act of revenge, I'm guessing, or something, Diana sat down for her 4-hour interview, TV interview. I think this is actually the interview where she says there were 3 of us in the marriage.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And it came out on Charles' birthday.
That's savage.
I know, 47th birthday, November 14th. 15 million people watched this, so a million more than Charles's.
Wow.
Yeah, she said the thing about the marriage being crowded, and she also expressed doubts about Charles being able to reign. And this was the last straw for the Queen. She swiftly sent letters to Diana and Charles and requested that they divorce as soon as possible.
Yeah. Why haven't they already?
I don't know.
Were they, like, just not allowed to?
I think they weren't allowed to, and I do think Charles was always kind of afraid to make decisions without his mom, which sounds kind of lame, but I think he thought he, like, couldn't or something.
Yeah.
And I wonder if he ever would have if his mother didn't tell him to.
Yeah.
Apparently
That's funny. He's like, I just can't deal with this anymore.
This is completely against everything I believe, but you need to divorce.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, she was, like, also very religious and didn't want them to get divorced, but apparently her letters were polite but firm, and to Diana, she signed it with love from Mama.
Oh, wow.
I know.
That's kind of sweet.
I know. It's sweet. I know. She always surprises you, that Queen Elizabeth.
The Queen is, like, a bad lady. Even, like... I don't think she's a bad lady. Even Harry and Meghan are like, no, we love the Queen. We're not bashing the Queen.
She's not bad. I think she is just very serious about her role as Queen.
Yeah.
And is maybe not the most, like, approachable person or comfy, but I don't think she's a mean person.
That coldness has been, like, indoctrinated into her since, like, she was a child. You can't blame her for that.
Yeah. It's all connected. So the terms of Charles and Diana's settlement was announced July 12th, 1996. Now Charles and Camilla were both divorced, but neither were free because, like, everybody hated them, and they needed approval of the people, and Charles couldn't just start, like, dating Camilla because everybody hated her. And Charles issued a statement saying he had no intention to remarry, and I think he probably meant it. I think he probably thought that wasn't really an option for him.
Yeah.
Camilla was basically on house arrest since Diana's interview. She had to use back doors to sneak around, and Charles hid under a blanket in the backseat of a car when he visited her.
Wow.
I know. And the British tabloids were really intense about Charles and Camilla. Like, they would have capital letter titles like Bed of Sin.
Wow.
Devil. And
they hated
like
this couple.
Yeah, they hated them. And Charles was being urged by his family to cut Camilla loose, but he didn't. And this is when Operation PB began.
What does that stand for?
Operation Parker Bowl. Because apparently they called her Mrs. PB, like, around the palace.
Oh, interesting.
Buckingham Palace, yeah. Mrs. PB.
So they're trying to get rid of her.
No.
Oh.
Actually, this is someone that I think Charles hired or something named Mark Bolland, and he became Mrs. PB's private secretary and executed a long-term campaign to improve her public image.
Wow.
Operation PB.
What did that entail?
Well, get into it. Well, January 1997, there was a televised debate about the monarchy, and just between people, I don't know, about, like, should we have a monarchy or whatever, and I guess when her name was mentioned, the audience booed.
Poor Camilla.
So for Operation PB, it was a long, slow process. They were strategic about having her at some things and not at others. Her mother had died of osteoporosis, I guess, so she started getting really involved with the Osteoporosis Society, and her sister held an event for them July 1997, so that was like a good moment for her. You know, it went well. And then July 18th, Charles and Camilla celebrated her birthday. So this is like, you know, the debate where people booed her was January. Now this is July. They had a party and they were openly, like, intimate. I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know if they were I don't think they were kissing or anything, but I think they were just, like, together at this party, and, like, it went okay. Diana was following Operation PB's progress. I don't know if she knew it was an official thing or if she was just, like, keeping her eye on Camilla, but her and Charles' relationship was actually, like, a little better when they saw each other.
Yeah.
Now that they were divorced, but she still showed some mischief. Apparently at a party, a charity cocktail event in New York City, she wore a gold link bracelet that had interlocking C's, and she pointed to the clasp and said to people, "This is for Charles, and that is for Camilla." And everybody laughed.
Sister.
Yeah. Camilla was still not invited to royal events, even though I guess technically she was, like, his girlfriend, but she wasn't invited to things. But she did have a little success. The New Yorker published an affectionate portrait of her, describing her self-deprecating humor and how she'd answer the phone Rottweiler here for Diana's nickname about her. The author of the article said, I think about Charles and Camilla, said, you know, after all these years, they're just happy to breathe the same air. Which is sweet.
That is sweet. Because I was nervous that maybe part of the appeal for them was that it was an affair and that would die down.
I know.
Once they were free to be with each other.
I was worried about that too.
Doesn't seem like it,
Luckily,
though.
I think that's not the case. Okay, and now I've got to pivot from all the fun and everything because then it takes turn for tragedy.
Carly just did the sign of the cross.
Yeah. August 31st, 1997, Diana was in a limousine with her current boyfriend, Dodi Fade, right? And it crashed. It instantly killed Dodi and the driver. And then she was taken to the hospital and passed away. She was only 36 years old.
It's so sad.
And it's actually crazy because we're not recording it exactly, but in 2 days it's the 25th year anniversary, I guess, of her death.
Wow.
So it's very sad. I know, and it was completely shocking. I mean, I was only like 2.5 or something, so I didn't remember it at the time. But Charles is said to have been distraught, and he let his sons, I think he heard the news, but then he let his sons sleep, and he had the television removed from their sitting room, and when they woke up at 7:15 a.m., he told them what had happened.
That must have been truly brutal.
It's so sad. He flew to Paris to bring Diana's body back, and on the Queen's order, she would be treated as the royal family, and they held a royal funeral for her. And he did worry that the press would blame him for her death.
Well, people do think that they killed her.
Like Charles.
People just think that, like, the royal family, like the Queen included.
Oh,
like,
yeah. I really don't think so.
I don't think so either. I mean, come on. Like,
I know.
I mean,
I think they were trying to move on.
Yeah.
Know? I don't think so. I think it was just a terrible accident. And the press, I think, killed her. And
yeah, I
apparently,
agree.
apparently William and Harry, when they were little, literally thought they killed her. The press, beat her to death or something. But they were, like, being chased and trying to escape paparazzi and stuff, so it's sad.
It was a highly dangerous situation.
Yeah, it's really sad. And I feel bad, like, and even going ahead, like, yeah, Charles and Camilla are still together to this day, and part of you, and I bet Charles and Camilla kind of feel this way, like, feel a little bad that Diana died, you know?
Yeah.
And that they got to have their, like, happy ending. You know, it's like a weird thing.
Yeah, because I think she would have had such a great life had she not had died. Like, I am optimistic she would have found someone else.
Yeah.
Had a good love story, been a great mom.
Yeah.
Like had a lot of success. And it is really tragic.
It is so tragic.
For her to have story ended only, like, at that point in her life. There's so much unfinished.
I know. It's horrible.
It's so sad. She was so young.
I love you, Mel.
Oh, I love you, Cal. I know. I'm so scared to death. Oh, I can't believe
too.
even
I
I'm
know.
gonna die.
Sometimes I want to make a collage of, like, just everyone that I care about who's died, just to look at and be like,
oh, that's really sweet.
I can do it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They did it.
They
I
did
can
it,
do
you
it
know?
too. Yeah, that's really
Even
sweet.
someone as young and cool and loved and fresh and just everything as Diana, like, she died.
I know.
And we're gonna too, you know?
I know. So, guys, just live every day.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of
Just
hard to live
every
every
day.
day.
I know,
like you're
it
gonna
is.
Die.
It is hard.
Because then people are like, why are you doing that?
I know. I hope she had a good day in Paris, you know?
Yeah.
She was, I mean, I'm guessing she's with Dodie. I think it was a new love type of thing. I hope she had a good day, you know?
Yeah. It's so tragic. And I do really feel bad for Charles having to break that news to his boys.
I know. And he did really love his boys.
I was going to ask that. What's he like as a father?
I didn't put too much about, because there's just so much information.
I know.
I didn't put too much about them in here, but I do think he is a good dad. And I do think that after Diana's death, I feel like the three of them, you know,
were really
stuck
close.
together.
Yeah.
It seems like today, him and William are like
best friends.
they're doing all the
Thick as
royal
thieves.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like he's estranged from Harry, I would say.
I don't know. I don't know the details. I'd have to read a book about it. But after this happened, it was like, okay, Operation PB is going to take a lot longer than we thought. Like, we can't have Charles out and about, like,
oh no,
you
it'd
know,
be so bad.
having fun with Camilla. So they took a few steps back after this. A year after Diana's death, he made the first of half dozen. Okay, so I guess 6. Wait, yeah.
The
numbers.
math,
I'm bad. I'm like Charles, guys. I'm bad at numbers. To the Eastern Orthodox monastic enclave on Mount Athos. There's like a monastery.
Okay.
And he's basically just going to focus on his spirituality.
Oh,
and
sweet.
he lived a monastery lifestyle, practicing each day with prayer, sharing meals with the monks, and having service at night. And would pray for hours. And it was a place he could be as old-fashioned as he liked.
Oh, that's sweet.
I bet he was like trying to work through all this stuff,
Yeah,
you know.
he's doing the work.
He's doing the work, finally. Yes, he's doing the work, as they say.
Yeah.
He did bring a satellite phone, though, to communicate with Camilla.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
he's
keep in
gotta
touch.
get that Camilla, or else he gets
I know.
touchy, as that
Imagine
person
he
said.
just proposed to her all those years
I know.
previously.
It would be
But
so
what?
different.
Not virginal.
I know.
So,
Yeah, so he had to be cautious about resuming public life with her. One of his top officials said, apparently, this is kind of gossipy, but said, she wears the pants, and he would tell you that.
but see, that's what he should have been saying about Diana. So that shows that he really does just love Camilla.
Yeah. And the guy that was Mark Bolland, the like PR person that was doing the Operation PB, said that Camilla was more attuned to the real world than most people around the prince, but that Camilla was kind of an enigma who preferred to cultivate some mystery. She had no need to explain herself or beg for approval. I do think she's an enigma. I still can't really figure her out. And there's like, you go on YouTube, there's not much about Camilla. There's like one recent interview from her about like osteoporosis.
I feel like people are sleeping on her. Why, does she have osteoporosis?
Oh no, she just like does that charity because her mom had it. Then there's one other where she's talking about, I think she did some cause for like sexual assault or something.
That's good.
She's very chill and like
it's
nice.
Weird. She's like not really getting attention.
Yeah, she doesn't.
Yeah.
But I think that still, even to this day, they're like in their 70s.
Yeah.
They are afraid to
cover her,
to come out and like have her talk because people will hate her.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
She still at this time, this is 1998, smoked a pack and a half a day.
Wow.
And butts filled the ashtrays of her antique tables.
Oh my god.
She still hadn't been introduced to William and Harry. But apparently 9 months after Diana's death, I think William came into the drawing room at York House and saw her there. I know. But I don't really know anything more about that. William and Harry hadn't been interested in meeting Camilla.
Yeah, it's painful.
But one day, Charles, as a first step, he invited Camilla's kids over, her 2 kids, and they hung out with William and Harry, and they had fun, I guess.
Oh, wow.
So 2 months later, William said he was ready to meet Camilla, and Camilla was so nervous, I guess. She was, like, shaking.
Wow.
And I don't know if it was just her and William, or I don't know if Charles was there. I don't know, but it was only half hour, but they had small talk over tea and soft drinks. I guess it went well, but after Camilla left, she gasped and said, "I really need a gin and tonic."
Oh, that does sound stressful.
Yeah, but she met with William 2 more times the following month, and then Harry soon after. And
yeah, they really, I don't even think of it like this, but they're a blended family. Like Harry and
they are. Yeah.
William have step siblings.
I know. I didn't really know anything about them. I'm so sorry. I forget Camilla's daughter's name. I know her son is Tom, but like I was looking at pictures and you can like see Tom in some pictures and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. A Buckingham Palace source said, so this is 1998, that the Queen has not and will not formally meet with Camilla. She will not even appear at the same social function.
Wow. They're wasting time.
I know. At Charles's 50th birthday party, Camilla was nearby but always out of frame. This was her first appearance at like an official royal public engagement though, but they avoided talking to each other all evening, and the Queen and Prince Philip were not there.
Because of Camilla?
I think so.
Wow.
I know. It's so dramatic, like the lengths they go to
I know.
avoid.
And like just to know that they do end up together in
I
the
know.
end. Like just let's stop this.
I know. January 28th, 1999, Thursday. I don't know why I have that detail. They made their first public appearance as a couple. It only lasted 20 seconds. They were leaving the Ritz Hotel for her sister's birthday. I guess people knew they were going to be there. So there were like 200 photographers waiting outside. They just walked outside the hotel. He smiled and she bowed her head slightly. He lightly touched her arm before she climbed into the car, and he walked around to the other side.
So very subtle.
Yep, but that was like their first appearance. Apparently Joan Rivers had befriended Camilla.
Wow.
I know. I can see it. And Rivers said, "I got what she was about, which is full of fun, a wicked sense of humor, and this is in a very good way, rough around the edges. He's got to be so formal. I just love that there's someone who could be rowdy with him and silly with him and normal with him."
That's sweet.
Yeah, I know. By May 2000, now 44% of the public said Charles and Camilla should wed. So, still, more than half people say they shouldn't.
But it's getting up there.
It's getting up there. Operation PB. They planned her first face-to-face encounter with the Queen since the 80s.
Wow.
This is 2000 now.
I can't believe they had not interacted since
I know. It was at a barbecue for Charles's cousin Constantine's 60th birthday, so it's like kind of low stakes.
Yeah.
The Queen smiled and Camilla curtsied.
Okay.
That's it.
That's really not
I know.
breaking the ice there.
BBC called Camilla his companion, And she continued to be excluded from occasions.
We all know what's going on.
I know.
There's actually this TikTok audio right now that's like, everybody knows. Everybody knows that he fucks you. And
Oh my God.
People do it like about siblings in the Folgers commercial.
Oh, yeah,
Or like, you know,
yeah.
it's like people that you think are fucking.
This.
Yeah, this is like, everybody
Yeah,
knows.
everybody knows.
You're
I know.
fucking. Just own it.
I know. I guess they're trying to pretend it's not happening. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But there was even this funeral of his longtime mentor, Derek Hill, because he had all these older friends.
Yeah.
Even at the funeral, at the church, Camilla was 5 pews behind Charles.
So awkward.
I know. It's sad. Like, they can't be together. June 26, 2001 was their first kiss. Not really, obviously, but it was at an Osteoporosis Society event. Camilla was hosting a benefit for them. Charles arrived, walked out of his limousine, and mouthed, "Hello, you," and kissed her on the cheeks.
Oh, that's sweet.
I don't know. It warms my heart.
Yeah.
She was asked about her future with Charles by Mark Boland, the guy doing Operation PB, and she said she had no idea about the future. He pushed further, and she said that many friends around her were unhappily married or single and lonely. She said, "Then there's me. I can't really complain, and don't. I'm probably happier than all of them, however complicated it may be." So they're happy, I guess.
Yeah.
Now, 50% of British people by 2002
That's
approved of
really
them
good.
getting married. Yeah. And later that year, the Church of England voted to allow divorced couples to remarry in the church,
Oh.
which is a big deal. It's very confusing to me. I always thought the Church of England was okay with divorce.
Yeah, I thought that's the reason why they broke
I
off
know.
from
So-
Catholicism.
I don't know. I guess I'm just ignorant and don't know
Yeah,
the
isn't this
details.
what you guys wanted? The freedom to do this?
Yeah, because it seems like
Right?
apparently it's still a no-no.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's just be confusing. Okay, this is a turning point, though. Charles and Camilla were invited to the wedding of Charles's godson, Edward Van Cutsum. He was friends with the Van Cutsum family, the parents.
Yeah.
And only a couple days before the ceremony, Camilla's status was demoted, and she was moved to the back of the church to avoid offending the queen.
Wow.
And Camilla was so embarrassed that she said she couldn't attend, and Charles sided with her, and he didn't go either. And then at this point, it was like, okay,
Good for him.
she's my, partner. Like, she's my love of my life. Like, she can't be treated this way.
Yeah,
like,
good for him.
go to the back of the church. Like, so he started talking to his royal aides about how he could marry Camilla. And one issue was the church wedding. Apparently, he wanted a religious ceremony, but the Archbishop of Canterbury riled it out because it would offend many Anglican... I don't know why I'm laughing. It would offend many Anglican priests and parishioners. And there was also the issue of what Camilla's title would be. Would people accept her as a princess? Because that was Diana's title.
Yeah.
Or someday queen. I just have this random note about 2005 that this is when Harry lashed out at paparazzi and wore his Nazi costume.
Oh, yeah, that was bad. Wait, that's why he did it?
No.
Oh.
This was just in the same year. He lashed out at paparazzi, and then the same year he went to a party dressed as a Nazi.
A Halloween party.
It actually wasn't Halloween.
Oh.
This is even worse.
I mean, it's bad either way, but why did he do
It's
it?
even worse. It was a party that was themed, I wish I had the other book with me. The theme was called something like Natives and Colonizers or something.
Ooh, that's a terrible theme.
I know. Maybe it wasn't colonizers. It was like native. I don't think that was the word, but it was like, you get the gist.
Mm-hmm. It's a very
It's
controversial
crazy.
theme.
A very controversial
They were
theme.
asking
And then
him-
he dressed as a Nazi. But still Nazi.
I know.
You could dress as... I mean, it's still controversial. I'm not saying I support this theme, but he could have been like a pilgrim or something.
How can you go to a party dressed as a Nazi and then
know.
get like a red Solo cup and then be like drinking and like playing beer pong and having fun when you're literally
Yeah.
dressed as a Nazi?
Yeah.
Harry, that's pretty
Yeah.
bad.
Charles
but I
was-
think he knows that.
Charles was very upset, and he was upset with William because apparently William knew he was going to go as a Nazi and like didn't stop him. So
Yeah. How old was Harry when he did that? I mean, it was stupid.
It's
Should've known
2005.
better.
When was he born? Psh, oh no! Don't make me. I don't know when he was.
Let's
born.
say 18. I don't know.
Yeah, he was like a teenager or
Yeah.
early 20s or something. But that has nothing to do with anything, but I just put it in
Well,
there.
it's good to know that Charles was like, that was
Yeah.
really stupid.
Poor Queen. She was probably
I
she's
know.
like, and she's still living through all this drama.
I
She's
know.
like, can't we just be happy?
And Harry had the whole, like, naked in Vegas stuff, too.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I know.
Oh, people forgave Harry for that, I will
totally-
say.
Yeah, they can't forget his dad.
I know. Honestly, what Harry did was kind of worse
I know.
in some ways. Just kidding. I mean, it was bad. It's
It
subjective.
was one day, I
It
guess.
was just one day, and
It was stupid.
it was a bad theme. And I do hate when people go to parties and don't follow the theme.
That's true.
But
Yeah.
he should not have.
Weird judgment. Maybe he thought like, oh, people dress as the devil, people dress as villains. I'm gonna be a villain.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a Nazi.
But
Yeah.
not
I don't know.
okay,
I'm being too
Harry.
generous
I think
right now.
he knows that, though. I'm sure.
Yeah. Harry, if you're
Probably
listening.
his biggest mistake.
Yeah. Biggest mistake. Yeah, so then February 10th, 2005, the Evening Standard announced Charles and Camilla's engagement. Gotta say, remember in London, they used to hand out the Standard and the Evening Standard on the street. They were like these free newspapers. It was so cool.
Yeah, that is
Just walking down the street and they just would hand you this newspaper and you read it. So it's cool to imagine you're just in London and then you get handed this newspaper and it says they're engaged.
And what was this, 2005, you said?
2005,
Wow.
yeah.
I can't believe it's taken that
I
long.
know. It was supposed to be announced on Valentine's Day, but apparently it was leaked or something.
Yeah.
I guess Camilla would have the right to be called Princess of Wales, but out of respect for Diana, she and Charles agreed she'd instead be known as Duchess of Cornwall, and that is what she's known as today. And when he became king, she would be Princess Consort, a title never used before. But very recently, I guess the Queen decided she'd be Queen Consort.
Yeah, it seems like Camilla has really grown on the family.
She has. I think she has. So, they had their wedding planned, but apparently Pope John Paul II died
I remember that.
April 2nd, and the funeral meant Charles had to postpone the wedding. And I don't really know why, like, he had to go to the funeral. I don't quite get it, but that's okay.
I guess he's just like a big public figure.
that's true. He's Prince, Pope, probably knew each other. I don't freaking know. So they finally got married, or as Camilla said, just two old people getting hitched. It was a small ceremony in front of 28 family members in an unpretentious Ascot room at Guildhall, which I had to Google what that was, and it's like a town hall in Windsor, basically. So they didn't have like a big wedding.
Did the Queen go?
The Queen did go, yeah.
Did William and Harry go?
Yeah,
Wow.
they were there. It made me upset because I was like watching some footage of it, like when they walked out on YouTube, and everybody in the comments was like, "Oh, this wedding is horrible. Like, compare it to his wedding to Diana. It's
like
there's
not
only
some-
200 people there. No one cares." And
Yeah.
they did it out of respect, though.
Yeah.
Like that would be just laughable if they had a huge, lavish wedding.
And they're like late 50s.
Yeah, and it's his second marriage. Even regular people usually don't do that. You know?
I know,
Like your second
yeah.
marriage is usually a little quieter.
more low key.
Yeah, so it was bugging me that everyone was like saying it said something about Camilla that, because she also wasn't wearing a tiara. She had like this weird hat thing.
But you know, if they did have a big wedding,
Yeah.
they would have gotten way more.
yeah, they'd be
negative
like,
press
this
about
is
that.
so distasteful.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see this.
Embarrassing. Yeah.
So it was a lose-lose situation. But I think they had a great wedding, great day. I think they're just happy. They left arm in arm. Camilla gave her first royal wave. Then they took a limousine to Windsor Castle, and they had a chapel service with 800 guests. So that was pretty big. Yeah, 800. I feel like for us,
That's a lot.
if you have like 150, it's like, oh, that's a big wedding.
Yeah.
800. They didn't end up, having like the church wedding. It was like, town hall, then a chapel thing. The Bedell Smith book said, following his divorce, and he perhaps deserved credit for resisting the tendency of so many men of his generation to date a much younger woman. Instead, he stood by the woman who had captured his heart as a young man and whom he adored, wrinkles and all, for what she was inside.
I think that sums it up.
Me too.
I mean, it's hard to hate them when they really just loved each other from day one.
I know. From day one. And still, apparently the Queen said at the wedding, "I'm very proud and wish them well. My son is home and dry with the woman he loves."
Aww.
Which is very sweet.
That's sweet that she finally accepted
I
it.
know.
If they didn't just say that she had to be a virgin all those years ago,
I know.
it would have saved them so much embarrassment.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, and in 2007, the Queen gave Camilla her special hand-painted brooch of the sovereign.
Oh.
So that's a gesture. It seems like she has accepted her.
Mm-hmm.
I have this random note that Charles, because I think it's cool. He's been called kind of like an activist king. He just gets he starts all these charities and events and things. And I just think it's funny. He literally launched a trust for the endangered red squirrel in 2009.
Oh, that's really sweet.
That just shows you the kind of guy he is. And he has reached the uncomfortable milestone of the longest wait to take the throne.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He might never.
Oh, I know, it makes me sad. I mean, I'm an American, obviously. I have no stake in this. Like, I can't say.
He's going to have a very short reign,
yeah, but
probably.
I do want him to
get
to be king. I feel like he's been preparing for so long, and it's frustrating.
Probably within the next 5 years.
I know.
If I had to
we'll
guess.
see. Wow. I'll be excited because I'm invested now.
I know, but it's
I'm
like
into it now.
the Queen would have to die. And,
I know,
that'd be a big
Rest in
deal.
peace.
Yeah.
The Queen respected Camilla's willingness in middle age to take on busy royal schedule. Despite Camilla's reputation, apparently, for being monumentally lazy in the nicest way possible, according to Mark Bolland, the Operation PB guy. And she had her first on-record interview in 2013, and she said, and I don't know if that's even true, but she said, "The thing is, he is, meaning Charles, not going to stop at this age. He never, ever stops working. He's exhausting. I'm hopping up and down and saying, 'Darling, do you think we could have a bit of, peace and quiet and enjoy ourselves?' But he always has to finish something. He's so in the zone." And today, so in 2015, only 35% of the public approved of Camilla becoming queen.
Yeah.
But today, apparently 73%.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah. And now, as we said, the Queen now said she'll be queen consort when Charles becomes king. And Charles and Camilla are still together to this day, literally 50 exactly years since they first met.
Wow. I mean, that's impressive.
And the end.
Wow.
That's all I have.
I realize you never gave us the 3 words to describe them.
We forget about that
I know.
sometimes. So in love.
Yeah, that's 3.
We have to remember to do that at the beginning.
I know.
This is the first couple we've done that is still together.
That's so true. So I guess, what's our percentage for if we think they're going to stay together? I think it's 100%.
I say 100
I don't think they're going to get divorced.
Even if their marriage became irretrievably broken down, as Charles
I
said,
don't think they'd separate.
they wouldn't divorce, I don't think.
After all that.
They couldn't go through
that would suck.
I know.
If they, then after all of that, they can't be together.
I don't think so. They still seem really cute. I have some video clips. I don't know if I'll post them on our Instagram or something. By the way, we're significant lovers on Instagram. If you don't follow us yet, we post very cute black and white pictures of everybody and videos and stuff. But there's just some video clips of them recently. They're in their 70s and they're still so cute. There's one of them, they went to Canada and there were these throat singers performing for them and they just start giggling and it seems like they can't stop and they're trying to stop because throat singers.
That's so cute.
I know. And then there's one of them, I think they're in Ireland and they go to a pub or something. It's some big official event, people are taking pictures and they have a pint of Guinness, which apparently Charles doesn't like beer, but they have Guinness and he takes a drink and then there's foam on his nose and she points it out to him and they're laughing and I don't know, they seem cute.
The fact that they can laugh together, that really, that is a secret to a good relationship. Is being playful, laughter.
They went to I don't know, I was watching all these clips. They went to the premiere of No Time to Die, that James Bond movie
Yeah,
that was like
I think I
last
remember
year or
that.
something.
Yeah.
And it was so weird for me to see Charles and Camilla talking to Billie Eilish.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Like, oh.
Wait, that's so funny.
I know. It's like, wait a sec. Is that Billie Eilish? Yeah, what?
Wow. Like, just two very different worlds.
I know. Yeah. I think they seem cute together, and they're still...
I ship it. I ship it.
Too. I know. Sue me. I ship it.
I think they were meant to be together.
Me
and
too.
I that does not take away from the fact that Diana was a wonderful woman and was treated unfairly.
Yeah.
And deserved better. Mm-hmm. But Charles, he was never gonna be the husband that Diana deserved.
Mm-hmm. I'm like really obsessed with them now.
No,
this podcast made me. I want to meet them. I wanted to spy on them.
Do you think they're searching their own names on Spotify?
Maybe,
I mean, they're kind of obsessed with image and what people think.
True.
You know,
yeah.
Operation PB, it worked on us.
Yes, it worked on us. We will help you out.
Yeah, honestly, what if we like literally changed the narrative right now with this podcast
I know,
episode?
right?
We seriously could.
We could.
And like suddenly people start shipping them and love them after all this time.
People didn't know they're a lovable couple. They are.
Yeah. It's kind of weird that, like, no one's taken that angle. I'm sure some people have, but...
There's a couple people in YouTube comments that are like, I've grown fond of Charles and Camilla.
Yeah.
Like, thumbs up.
Let's popularize it.
Yeah. Guys, 50 years of love.
I mean...
And counting.
A lot of people can't do that. But I do wonder, like, would their relationship have been the same if they didn't have the same trials and tribulations that they needed in order to get to that point? Like, did that help them, kind of?
You can never know the answer to those kind of questions.
Yeah.
But maybe, I don't know, like maybe they became the people they are now because of everything they went through.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
It seems like, I don't know, Charles was very uncertain about things and stuff, and he only did things that his mom said to and what other people said to. But if you remember, like the wedding thing when she got pushed to the back, he was finally ready to make a decision himself and be like, okay, like, this is not gonna happen anymore. Like, I need to marry her, you know? Proud of him.
And really, this is kind of why I don't believe that, like, the royal family was, like, really, like, had negative, like, intentions against Diana, like, towards the end or anything like that. Because, like, just the way that, like, the queen does show a lot of maturity to be able to, like, change her opinion on Camilla after all that time. Like, she hated Camilla.
Yeah. But I don't even know if she did hate Camilla. I think she just... really wants to keep the monarchy intact and feels
she's
like
cautious.
It's a literally 1,000-year-old 1,000 years. Like, you don't want to be responsible for ending it. Yeah. I think she felt like she can't be associating with somebody that the public doesn't like or that, you know, doesn't want the royal family to seem like they're immoral or something.
It's a huge pressure on her shoulders.
I don't think the queen, like, literally hated her or meant anything by it. She just felt like it wasn't okay to be in the same room as her.
That's understandable.
You know what I mean? I mean, it sounds really harsh, but I don't think she's, like, an evil person or anything.
I wonder if the monarch ever will collapse.
I know.
Probably. Who's it going to be under? Yeah, it's kind of like you don't want to be the one left.
I know.
It's like my... friend, writer, he was in a, I probably shouldn't say this, he was in a fraternity in college that was, like, not super popular, and it started dwindling and dwindling.
Oh, no.
And when the fraternity finally collapsed, it was, like, him and one other person
That's so
left.
sad.
So then all these alumni were like, you let it die.
Oh, that is upsetting, yeah. I do think, I don't know, if you asked me in the past, I probably would have said, like, oh, it shouldn't exist or whatever. I shouldn't get into this. I have nothing to do with this. But I do think it is kind of cool to have this tradition, and I do think maybe you could spend less money on them, but, like, just this lineage.
Yeah.
And they don't get involved in things. It's like a stability, you know?
No, I like it. I don't think they should get rid of it. But
that's just me.
You don't need as many members. I don't think that, like, Prince Andrew, first of all, I think he should just not even be, like, I'd be pissed if my tax money was going to him.
Is it still? Is he still, like, on it?
I want to say that, guys, I don't really know, but I feel
we
like
could Google it.
I thought that they had cut him off.
I think they at least revoked some stuff.
Yeah, but I'd be pissed.
Titles
but
or
even
something.
like his daughters, like
I know.
Beatrice and whatever her
Yeah.
name is, do they really need to be
I know.
benefiting from the monarchy anymore?
I'm sure
They could be influencers.
I'm sure they would get money somehow anyway.
Yeah, just the
You know?
just the association with it. And
Yeah.
they would have connections that could hook them up with a job.
Yeah. I'm sure they still get like an inheritance or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But Kelly, great job with that episode. That was really good. Very entertaining.
It's very long.
How long is it? Let me guess.
Right. What?
2 hours and 17 minutes.
Longer.
Oh
We're
my
at
God.
2:49.
Wow.
I guess we should end it there. But guys, we if you want to contact us, we're at significantlovers@gmail.com. I realized recently we never say like how to contact us.
Yes.
Instagram significant lovers.
Yeah. And you know what I thought would be fun? Even though, like, we keep our episodes a secret until it comes out.
Yeah.
Like, if there's any couples you really want us to cover, it would be fun if people sent us, like, voice recordings. And then maybe when we
yeah.
do cover it, we'll play that.
That's so true.
It'd be
Yeah.
super cool.
If you want, guys. Yeah. This was a doozy.
This was really fun. Yeah, and if you like listening to the podcast, we have bonus episodes on our Patreon. So far we've covered Dave Coulier and Alanis Morissette, Gigi Hadid. I mean, not
I was about to just go along with that one. Yeah.
not Gigi, different blonde model, Cara Delevingne and Ashley Bunsen, and
We should do Gigi Hadid.
I know.
I kind of forgot about her.
Me too. She's got some people. And John Mulaney and Anna Marie Tendler and all that drama. So another love triangle.
Yep. So we have another bonus episode next week.
And yeah, give us a teaser about that. What
So-
can we expect?
This week was a 50-year romance. Next week is a much shorter fling between two very popular music stars, R&B rapper and a pop star. And they're kind of a did they date type of couple? We'll see.
I always worry these are too obvious.
I know.
But I feel like
No, people are like, I don't know what it is. Yeah. At least the people have contacted me. So, yeah.
wow.
Do you think that sounds too obvious?
Well, because I know who it is, but I'm excited. Well, thank you guys so much for listening.
We love you.
We love you, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.
Is your heart filled with pain? Shall I come back again? Tell